Chapter 61, Sister's Invitation. Izuku sat up. The body shaper on his body was completely broken. All Might took it off and threw it aside. All Might sat next to him, and Bakugo, the culprit, was not here. Thank you, All Might. Izuku smiled and looked at All Might. There was no doubt that All Might brought him to the treatment girl again. You really are too desperate. All Might looked at Izuku with his deep eyes. Maybe, hiss, my hand hurts. Izuku just wanted to move his hand, but he directly tore his wound and grinned. Don't work too hard next time. After all, you are only a 15-year-old boy. Got it. Izuku looked at the training clothes torn by All Might and felt a little helpless. This time, tens of thousands of yuan were gone. Training emphasizes the combination of work and rest. You are like this, you are insane. Yes. Izuku sat on the bed and looked at the treatment girl who was healing him and All Might sitting next to him. All Might, I just have something to ask you. Go ahead. Do you have a girlfriend? All Might blurted out. This question was very heartbreaking. Even the symbol of peace, the number 1, was still a single dog. It's not that no one had pursued him, but those girls felt that they were not worthy of All Might. Moreover, All Might was a busy man who had almost no time to find a girlfriend. Well, I definitely have one. All Might started to lie now. This was the face that a man had to have. Really? Izuku asked casually, and his attention turned to the location of his injury. Healing girl, when will these injuries heal? The next class is the Chinese exam, and the final exam is in 3 weeks. I don't want my grades to be too bad. Humph, you are the only one who comes all day long. The injury on your right hand has healed, but the injury on your left hand will have to wait until tomorrow. Yes. Izuku got off the bed, put on his clothes, and walked back to the classroom. Hey, Yundian, you'd better keep an eye on your little apprentice. He's not in a good state right now. Yet. I know about this, but I can't stop him. Yeah, this desperate spirit is also very similar to you back then. No. He's not me, he's more desperate than me. Back in class, Izuku didn't even look at Bakugo who hurt himself. He sat down and started reviewing. He's going to take the Chinese test soon, so he can't make any mistakes. Another me, have you ever thought about whether we've gone too far? Our souls can hold on, but our bodies... Well... I really need to rearrange my training plan. I used to study and train all day and all the time. I really need a good rest. The big guy I follow has posted many chapters of novels, but I haven't read them yet. You're just that capable. Don't tell me you don't like reading. But in recent days, I always feel that the big guy's book is not very good. What do you think about us writing one ourselves? Won't this interfere with my studies? You stay up until 2 in the evening anyway, so writing something is no problem. Just treat it as a pastime. Well, okay. After the exam, it was lunch break time and Izuku and a few good classmates were eating lunch. Well, I have a question for you. Izuku suddenly raised his head and looked at Yurika Okako, Ida Tinya, and Kamimura Denki who were sitting with him temporarily. If you have any questions, just tell us. We will definitely give you some advice. Kamimura Denki was quite righteous. It's that my sister-in-law came to see me from China. I don't know how to deal with her. Izuku lowered his head and his voice gradually became smaller. What? Your sister-in-law is coming? That big-breasted sister Coco. Kamimura Denki's face flushed, and it seemed that he remembered the close-up photo of Coco again. Well, but I've been separated from my sister for so long, and now I don't know how to get along with her. Izuku lowered his head and twirled his fingers under the table. How did you get along with your adopted sister before? Leary gave Izuku a suggestion. My sister and I used to play with my sister in that house, and while playing, I gave her ideas for her new book. Then what? That summer, my sister and I would sit in that place where we could see the stars every day, chatting and sleeping, and every time my sister would fall asleep in the middle of the conversation, and she would always go to bed without even taking a shower. Every time, it was Sister Falm who would take my sister into the bathroom to take a shower, and my sister especially liked to let me wear weird cosplay clothes, and let Sister Falm take pictures of me. Now I think about it and feel embarrassed. Izuku covered his face as he said this. Why did Izuku suddenly feel a little sympathetic? No matter what, you have to face it, right? Since you don't want to disappoint her, let your sister see your progress. Ida-kun gave very direct advice. Well, actually it's not because of this reason. It's just that, I don't really want to wear my sister's cosplay clothes, and they look weird. Izuku said with his head down. We can't help you with this. After all, it's your sister's bad taste. Besides, we also want to see it. And I remember that my sister seemed to post all my cosplay photos on the internet, saying that she wanted to let everyone on the internet know. I was so scared that I didn't dare to go out on the street for half a year. Izuku said again, covering his face. We still can't help you. It's already 1:30 and class is about to start. Let's go back to class first, and then help you think of a solution. Okay. Izuku pouted and went back to class obediently. In the evening, Izuku received a message from his sister. Jonah, remember, we will meet at the small park where we first met on the 26th. Okay, by the way, sister, you come back like this, won't the editor in China cry? But I just have no inspiration at all, so I have to find you, Jonah. Sister teased me again, haven't you always had a smooth writing mindset? How come you have hit a bottleneck? That was in the past, now sister is going to do something big. Sister will never fail in what she wants to do. Just have your words. By the way, this time I have prepared a lot of different cosplay costumes for you, remember to come and wear them. I feel full of bad taste, sister is still like this, did you really fall for sister's trick? But only sister Coco and I have the best relationship, after all, we are all no personality trash. That's right, except for Xiaosheng, the one who has the best relationship with me is sister Coco. On the other side, in World Snake, Coco put away her phone and looked at Falmer who was sitting on the sofa opposite and wiping his gun. Falm, do you think I am being too unfriendly to those editors? I don't know, but those editors never thought you would return to China. Maybe, but I really don't have any ideas for writing a book. Coco, why don't you write about your brother? I remember Jonah was studying at UA, right? And there's also his childhood friendship. I think everyone will like this kind of novel. Coco's eyes flashed. This idea was great, and she could use this as an excuse to ask, harass, Jonah every day. Falm, you are really awesome. Coco, I'm cleaning my gun. Don't jump over. Chapter 62, Preparation. The next morning, Izuku came to class, but he was still quite absent-minded. Sister really isn't going to let me go. Izuku looked at the messages on his phone helplessly. What's wrong? Midoriya-san. The monitor stood next to Midoriya at the right time. Look. Izuku put the phone in front of Ida. Ida read their information records in silence. What should I do? Izuku looked at Ida pitifully. As your squad leader, I want to help you, but as a person who likes sand sculpture culture and cosplay, not only do I not want to help you, but I also want to watch you cosplay. Izuku gave Ida a roll of his eyes, I didn't expect you to be such a monitor. By the way, if you play cosplay, can we go visit it? Leary suddenly appeared out of nowhere and asked. It should be, okay, I have to ask. Sister, I have some friends who want to go and play with you, is that okay? You are talking about your classmates in Class 1A, of course there is no problem, but in exchange, you have to tell your sister everything about you in school. Hehe, my sister knows how to write a book. Why do you feel so cold? It's an illusion. The useless teacher probably plans to write a novel using your experiences in school. It's better to agree to her. After all, it will help the publicity of our school. Yurika Okako tried her best to fool Izuku. Really? But I didn't refuse. Izuku said and clicked a few times on his phone before agreeing to his sister's request. Then invite them to World Snake. This is a hero office specially set up by my sister here. It is located in the house where we played together. Sister, when did you establish a hero agency? It doesn't matter when I established it, as long as you know that if my sister lives in this world for one day, you will not be a lonely waste. Sister. Izuku's nose felt a little sore as he looked at the message from Coco on his phone. Wow, I didn't expect that we could actually visit a hero office. Leary obviously didn't realize the point. I didn't expect Izuku's sister to have such great power. Well, she is definitely not an ordinary person. Ida comes from a family of heroes, so he naturally knows how difficult it is to establish a hero office. But no matter what, my sister agrees that you go. Izuku's smile was still so bright at this time. Thank you so much, Izuku-kun. Leary was the first to express her gratitude to Izuku, because not only could they visit a hero office, but they could also get the signature of the good-for-nothing brother and sister. Just think about it. Very excited. Then I have to ask how many people want to go. Ida-kun was as serious and responsible as ever. Hey, everybody, class is on. Ida-kun gave up his thoughts for the time being. After class, Ida immediately took out his cell phone. Tenya Ida, attention everyone, Izuku's sister invited us to visit her hero office. This is a rare opportunity, if you want to visit, sign up now. Kirishima Eijiro, oh, I'm actually going to visit the hero's office. Add me. Yurika Okako, I want to go too. Shangming Electric, what date are you going to go on? If it's the 27th, I won't be free. Yurika Okako, it's the 26th. Kaminari Electric, then I'll go too. Erlang Xiang, count me in. After a few minutes, Ida calculated that only Bakugo-san was left without a response. In order not to let any of his classmates fall behind, Ida-kun decided to talk to Bakugo-san. Ida Tenya at Bakugo Katsuki, do you want to visit? Bakugo Katsuki, hey? Bakugo Katsuki, visiting the office? I might as well go train while I have this time. Kaminari Electric, forget it if you don't go, Midoriya and Todoroki will go. Todoroki, you really don't have to go. Midoriya and I can go. Your going will hinder the appearance of the city. Bakugo Katsuki, damn it. Yin Yang face, you are dead. Erlang Xiang, ha 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 ha, it hinders the appearance of the city, ha 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 ha. I didn't expect Todoroki-san to have a venomous tongue. Bakugo Katsuki, headphones, don't think I don't hit women. Erlang Xiang, sorry, brother, I was wrong. Shangming Electric, ha 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 ha. Erlang was actually threatened by Bakugo. Rare. Ha ha ha. Erlang Xiang, you dare to commit suicide while sitting next to me? Bakugo Katsuki, I will go to that office and kill Yin Yang directly. Hong Xiaodong, come if you have the ability. Midoriya Izuku, Ka-chan and Todoroki-kun, don't fight. Bakugo Katsuki. Hong Xiaodong. Midoriya Izuku, it's true. We always quarrel over trivial matters. Can you be more mature? Bakugo Katsuki, you loser, how dare you accuse me? Hong Xiaodong, I know, I will pay attention to it in the future, and try not to quarrel with Durian Tou in the future, well-behaved.jpg. Midoriya Izuku, that's pretty much it, just touch your head.jpg. Izuku Midoriya is offline. Bakugo Katsuki, bastard with a yin and yang face. Boom. Shoto, I promised Izuku that I won't argue with you, but I didn't say I won't fight with you. Ida Tenya, I've been very tolerant of you before. If you make trouble again, be careful that I will call Aizawa teacher. Aizawa Shoto warn.jpg. Kami Neru, today's MVP is Ida. Erlang Hibiki, isn't it Midoriya? And how can you play with your phone when I stepped on the ground? Mineta Minoru, I remember that Erlang seemed to be wearing a skirt today, he he he. Mineta Minoru was banned for 1 hour by group leader Ida Tenya. Ida Tenya, if I can't take care of those two terrorists, can I take care of you? Ida Tenya, since everyone is going, then we will gather at the door of Izuku's house at 8 o'clock on the morning of the 26th, and he will take us to visit. Kami Neru, no problem. Erlang Hibiki, 8 o'clock, right? Got it. Midoriya Izuku, okay, I will take everyone to visit. Izuku Midoriya, I hope Kiken and Todoroki don't mess around. Kamimura Electric, real names at Bakugo Katsuki and Todoroki Shoto. Bakugo Katsuki, idiot face, do you want to die? Izuku turned off his phone and looked out the window. The sky was still as blue as ever. What kind of cosplay clothes will my sister let me wear for my other self? I don't know, but according to my sister's taste, it must be very heavy. I always feel that my sister is doing something big. My sister has built a special office here, don't you feel anything? Aren't you here to experience being a hero? Have you ever seen an office that allows private firearms? But didn't you play with those firearms too? I think something big is going to happen. Get everything ready. It's time to return the SCR to my sister, as well as the card. Got it. Chapter 63, Visiting World Snake. The waiting time is always very long, and Izuku also feels so. After school in the afternoon, Izuku went home and found a black suitcase placed in a secret place. Opening the suitcase, a black gun appeared in Izuku's sight, with English words sprayed on the gun body with red paint. Jonah, no one has called me that for a long time. Only my sister would call me that. Izuku stroked the gun everywhere. Then he grabbed the handle of the gun and took the SCR out of the suitcase. Ka-la. The magazine was loaded, and Izuku pulled the bolt. The crisp sound of the bolt reminded Izuku of the time when he played in his sister's house. Jonah, you can't point the gun at your own people. Sister, you are the same. Really? Let's go practice shooting today, okay? Sister Farm will teach me that kind of thing. Sister, you hurry up and write a book. Jonah is really ruthless. Hurry up and go. The memory ends. Ka-ba. Izuku disassembled the SCR in his hand unconsciously. Looking at the parts on the ground, Izuku was a little stunned. When did he disassemble the gun? Never mind, the main thing now is to put the gun together first. Izuku sat on the ground and started to put the gun together. After a few minutes, Izuku finally put the SCR together. Izuku wiped his face with his hands covered with gun oil, which was black. Hey, I haven't practiced for a long time and my hands are not so good. I hope my shooting skills won't be so bad. After washing his hands, Izuku put the gun back into the suitcase. He had to take it back to his sister on the 26th. Then there was the bank card. Izuku put the bank card into the suitcase. His sister would take back the suitcase, but she would not take back the money, so he had to rely on this suitcase. Just wait until the 26th. Izuku shook hands and put the suitcase back. At 6 o'clock in the morning on the 26th, Izuku got up early as usual to train, and the others were also preparing how to visit the newly established hero agency. You little brat, you haven't brought Izuku back for dinner this time, I'm going to blow your head off. Tisk, I got it, old woman. Shoto, Dad cares about you a lot, will you be back tonight? I don't want to mention that bastard. Ida, aren't you coming out for breakfast yet? Ah, brother, I'll be right there. Ida put down the information on World Snake in his hand, the private armed forces, the extremely powerful 8-man army, the terrifying arms dealer, Koko Hikomedia, the legendary arms queen. At 7:30 in the morning, Bakugo, who was in a very bad mood, and Shoto, who wanted to have a good relationship with Izuku, came to the door of Izuku's house at the same time. As soon as they met, they started to get along with each other. Why are you here so early? Yin Yang face. Of course I'm here to find Midoriya, but your house is so close to Izuku's house, why are you here so early? Todoroki leaned against the wall with his arms folded and looked at Bakugo. It's none of your business that I come so early. Bakugo put his hands in his pockets and leaned against the wall, watching Todoroki. Suddenly, the two turned around and walked towards the door of Izuku's house at the same time. Bakugo pressed the doorbell first with his speed. Ding dong, ding dong. Who is it? I haven't even changed my clothes yet. Izuku opened the door without any care. At this time, Izuku was only wearing a pair of big bell-bottom pants, with his upper body naked, and his other hand was wiping his hair with a cloth. It's Xiao Sheng and Todoroki-kun. I didn't expect you to come so early. Come in and sit down. Okay. The two men blushed. You sit down first, I'll go change clothes first. The two guys sat at both ends of the sofa and watched Izuku walk into his room. Bakugo put one foot on the sofa, supported his head with one hand, and looked at the facilities in Izuku's house with an unhappy look. Todoroki-kun put one hand on the sofa, silently looking out the window, being a quiet handsome man. It's really hard for Xiao Sheng to get up so early and come to my place. Xiao Sheng doesn't get up until after 8 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays. So don't mess with me now. Bakugo closed his eyes impatiently. Hi. Izuku smiled and put 2 cups of tea on the coffee table. Thank you, Izuku. It's okay. After all, I invited you to visit. Izuku's smile was still so sunny. Looking at Izuku's smile, Todoroki's heartbeat began to get chaotic. It was a heartbeat. By the way, it's already 7:40 now. I wonder if other people have arrived. Izuku said while taking out his mobile phone. Izuku Midoriya, is everyone here? Ida Tinya, I'm already at Izuku's door. Kamimura Denki and Mineta Minoru also arrived together. Izuku Midoriya, do you want to come in and sit for a while? Mineta Minoru, no, you and Bakugo, Todoroki Shoto can just rest inside. Miro Hibiki, Bakugo and Todoroki Shoto are resting at Izuku's house? Interesting. Hagakure Toru, I'm here too, I saw the class leader. Frogbuki Miu, I'm here with Toriko. Yurika Okako, I saw Miu-chan too. Yamura Momo, how come you guys are so fast? Kirishima Ajiro, I'm here too. At 7:50, everyone was basically there, and Izuku shook Bakugo, who had his eyes closed. Xiao Sheng, get up. No way out. Bakugo opened his eyes, which were bloodshot. Xiao Sheng, everyone else is here, it's time for us to set off. I got it, trash, don't get so close to me. Hey, but we're leaving. Todoroki Jiaodong stood up. Izuku, let's go out first. Okay. Bakugo saw in his confusion that Izuku's hand was held by that damn yin-yang face, and he walked out the door. Trash. Bakugo immediately stood up and grabbed Izuku's other hand. Xiao Sheng, what are you doing? You two are holding my hands like this. I can't open the door. Izuku broke away from the two people's hands, picked up the suitcase and loot placed at the door, and opened the door. Good morning, everyone. Izuku greeted the others with a smile. Good morning. Leary is also full of energy today. The sun is so bright. Chang'an wore a black cloak today. Everyone should be here, let's go. Izuku waved his hand, closed the door, and then led the class to World Snake. Izuku-kun, why do you still carry a suitcase? Ida, who was walking beside Izuku, asked. This contains things I have to return to my sister. Izuku patted the suitcase. Just turn a corner here and we'll be there. Izuku led his classmates to turn a corner, and an antique door appeared in front of everyone. A busted beauty wearing a black vest and white trousers with short hair shawl was standing there. A blindfold was tied to the door. Sister Falm. Izuku ran towards Falm like the wind, like a child who saw his mother. Hey, Jonah, long time no see. Falm greeted Izuku, and also touched Izuku's emerald green hair. It's been a long time. Izuku smiled and looked at Falm. In the crowd of Class 1A behind him, two single dogs exuded a hunting atmosphere. Breasts, that's a sign of big breasts. So beautiful. Sister Falm, where is Sister Coco? Inside, let me take you in. Falm opened the door and led Izuku and the others into the house. The house was based on the teacher's building, with pavilions, and some rare things. Flowers. It's still the same here. Izuku sighed as he looked at everything in this house. Yes, Coco is staying in bed again now. This is not good. She drank wine last night. Falm touched her forehead. As soon as Miss Coco returned to this house, she began to let herself go. Either she would disappear while playing, or she would drink. After drinking, she would act drunkenly, and even take off her clothes when acting drunkenly. This made the only girl in the 8-person team very devastated. You are so strong that this house was not demolished by my sister, oh. Uncle Rim. Brother Lutz. Izuku waved to the two people next to the pond. Hey, isn't this Jonah? Finally willing to come back to play. Well, I'm here to keep the appointment. Izuku happily patted the suitcase in his hand. Oh, that's it. No wonder I said Tojo and Mao would go to the kitchen. Willy and Yugo are underground, and the eldest lady is there too. You go and play underground. Uncle Rem threw the cigarette butt into the trash can and concentrated on fishing. I said, Rem, don't you think something will happen today? You won't live if something happens? Anyway, you will only be injured. Who made your butt stick up so high in the last mission? That's just a scratch, okay. Anyway, you are the most embarrassed person in the team now. Even Jonah is better than you. Tisk. The two people said as they fished quietly, but their spirits were always in a tense state. Why do you feel like we can't even get a word in? Leary whispered to Ba Wan Wan. Originally, only Izuku is familiar with them here. We just need to think that we are here to visit. Falm led everyone into the underground. When he first entered the underground, Bakugo felt uncomfortable. Hey, that woman, is there something here? Oh, you are worthy of being a member of the hero department of Class 1A. This underground is surrounded by a magnetic field, so you cannot use your own personality here, except for mutants. Falm said, walking towards the underground, and came out. Ju followed Farme closely, and the other students followed Izuku nervously. They couldn't show off any of their personality now. Don't be nervous, everyone. Sister and the others are not bad people. Izuku turned his head and comforted everyone who was nervous. Maybe you're the only one who thinks so. Now even Ida is on full alert in case of any eventuality. Falm opened the underground door, and others heard a click-click sound, which was the sound of gunshots. What's going on? Why are there gunshots here? Ida-kun's whole body was tense now. Jonah, didn't you tell them? We, World Snake, are the only hero agency other than the police that can legally own guns. No. Izuku said naturally. I knew it. Forget it. Let's just visit here. I'll take Jonah to see Coco. Farm said as he took Izuku's hand and walked to a room in the basement. The others dispersed to find their own favorite things. Bakugo and Todoroki followed behind Izuku and Farm with unhappy faces. Coco, don't sleep anymore. Get up. I'm here to bring Jonah. Chapter 64, The Ninth Person. No way. Cao Cao walked out of the room with a look of displeasure on her face. She was now only wearing a white shirt and underwear. Sister Coco. Izuku covered his eyes in panic. Oh, it turns out that Jonah is here. I'm going to change clothes first. Cao Cao closed the door again. Hey, I guess Jonah can let Cao Cao change into clothes. After all, she was just wandering around the office in her underwear a few days ago. Falm touched her nose, and then looked at Izuku. Jonah, while Cao Cao is changing clothes now, how about we practice? No problem. 2 minutes later, Izuku was pushed to the ground. How many times have I told you to keep your eyes on the enemy and not always look in other directions? Your training is not enough. Stop pulling. My hand hurts. Izuku slapped the ground with his spare hand. Tisk, trash is trash. Bakugo said gloatingly as he looked at Izuku being pressed to the ground and being rubbed by Falm. Well, this woman is very strong. Todoroki wanted to use his personality to blow away the woman who was pressing on Izuku, but unfortunately he couldn't use his personality now. Okay, Falm, don't bully Jonah, we still have things to do. At some point, Coco, who had already dressed, stood behind Falm and the others. I got it. Falm let go of Izuku. Just when Izuku was about to stand up and dust himself off, the alarm suddenly sounded, and the electricity in the ground flickered on and off. Do. What's going on? Falm immediately took out a knife from behind and blocked it in front of Cao Cao. Bakugo and Todoroki also stood in front of Izuku, but Izuku didn't know what happened. He fainted and fell to the ground. Another wave of our guests has come in. A ghostly smile appeared on Cao Cao's face. Let the hunt begin and let the others in. I know Cao Cao. Falm immediately contacted several people on the ground and asked them to come down immediately. After a while, Cao Cao's 8-person team was assembled. Ida also gathered the classmates together, and they walked to Cao Cao's side. Excuse me, what is going on now? Obviously, this underground base has been invaded now, and there are many people coming. Then what should we do now? We can't use our personality now. Don't worry, kids, just leave it to us. Uncle Rem took another cigarette, put on his equipment, picked up his best carbine and rushed out. We are heroic people. We have also experienced hundreds of battles. I am a man. We also have to participate in the battle. Kirishima was now quite angry. So what? Those who have not experienced war are not qualified to say that they are men. Tojo is gone. Lutz took a sniper rifle, and Tojo took a Mk2 and walked out. I'll prepare the vehicle, Mao, follow me. Yugo patted Mao on the shoulder, and the two of them walked out. I'm going to prepare the bomb. A black man said and left, and now only Cao Cao, Falm and the people from Class 1A were left in the underground base. Why are everyone leaving? Yurika Okako was very scared now. Damn it. Personality still can't be used. Falm, you can go too, I still want to sleep for a while. I know, Cow cow. Falm rushed out with a knife. Why aren't you scared? The gunfire outside was so loud. It's so scary. Minoru Mineta almost peed. Damn it. Our personality can't be used at all now and is at the mercy of others. Even the calmest and calmest Ida started to panic. You guys are so annoying now. Izuku, who was sitting on the ground, stood up and twisted his neck. Hey, Fiju, why did you faint just now? Izuku, what happened to you just now? Who knows, I'm very annoyed now. Cow cow, I should be fine if I go out now. Izuku now seems to be a completely different person. Ah, I don't know, whatever, it's so noisy outside now. Then I'll get ready to go. Izuku said, opening the suitcase he had been carrying, and a black SCR appeared in front of everyone. I'm leaving. Izuku rushed out holding the SCR. Midoriya-san. Wait-shu. Izuku. You guys just stay here, don't run around. Death is a hero's loss. Besides, what can you do without personality now? Cow Cow's voice came from the room again. How can it be repaired? Miss Coco is right. You can't even use your personality now, so what else can you do? So just stay there, but Miss Coco, can you come out? I don't know what. At that moment, a dozen people holding guns walked into the underground base around a man wearing a black hat. Humph, I knew it was you, Hinoki Yasuke. Cow Cow walked out of the lounge, pouting, looking quite cute. Haha, it is indeed you, Miss Cow Cow. So, what are your plans? It's not that good, I'm going to invite Miss Coco to my place for a little talk. Hinoki Yasuke said with a smile. I can go with you, but you have to let these students go. Coco's figure standing there became unusually strong. Oh, these should be students of UEFA. They are really heroes born in youth. They are the pillars of the future society and cannot be killed at will. But as long as there is another group of pillars, it will be fine. You dare. Hehe, what am I afraid of? Now your 8-man team is all outside. What ability do you have to resist me now? I forgot to tell you that my team now has a 9th person. Coco spread her hands and said. Don't try to lie to me, go. Take her back to me. Bang 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 bang. Several gunshots came from behind Hinoki Yasuke, and the soldiers who rushed towards Coco fell to the ground. Who? Hinoki Yasuke took out a pistol from his arms and turned behind him, but there was no one behind him. Who is it? Hinoki Yasuke looked around vigilantly. The atmosphere was quite tense now. Even the students in Class 1A did not dare to breathe loudly. Who am I? I am not a saint, nor a god of death. I am just the 9th person who is as useless as trash. Izuku's voice was accompanied by 4 gunshots. Hinoki Yasuke fell to the ground and Izuku stepped on him. I knew Jonah would come to save me. Coco now hugged Izuku like a nymphomaniac. Kai Kixiu. Why did a 9th person suddenly appear? Hinoki Yasuke said with difficulty. His limbs were directly broken by 4 gunshots. Coco, you said that you would remove my hypnosis after this mission is over. Yes, but if that's the case, I can't play with such a powerful Jonah. Stop it, it's tiring for me to maintain this state, and I've said before, I don't kill people, and I don't sell weapons. Really? Take me back quickly, and don't touch me, I have a wound on my hand. Izuku's voice was quite cold, completely different from the usual Izuku. Izuku is a little scary now. Leary whispered. It's completely different from the usual Izuku. What's going on? This is not the Izuku I know at all. Okay, when Farmer comes back, I'll let her take you back. After more than 10 minutes, the underground base resumed power supply. At this time, everyone realized that Izuku's clothes were now as if they had been washed with blood, and a lot of blood clots were condensed on the clothes. There was also a scratch on his right arm, and the wound was bleeding continuously. So, why haven't you come back yet? Izuku was sitting on a sofa, playing with 3 or 4 bullets with his left hand. Maybe they are dealing with the bodies, after all, you still have so many people to kill. I've said, I don't kill people. Hey, so those who were injured by you will be dealt with by others. Can't you let Farmer come back quickly? I don't want to be psychologically hinted this time, and I'm tired every time I do this. You don't look tired at all, Jonah, just wait a little longer. It's annoying. By the way, why don't you chat with your classmates? Without quirks, they are like quails hiding in the corner and shivering. Is it necessary to talk to them? Who the hell are you calling quails? Bakugo rushed up and grabbed Izuku's collar. If someone doesn't even dare to go out, what else is he but a quail? Izuku's eyes were half drooping. Fuck you. Bakugo raised his hand to hit, but Ida stopped him. Todoroki Shoto also came up and looked coldly at Koko, who was sitting on the sofa watching the show. Can you tell us what happened to Izuku? It's a long story. Chapter 65, End of the Incident. This matter has to start from the first time I met Izuku. We all know about that matter, let's get to the point. Hey, then the matter has to start from the first time Izuku came to me. When Izuku came to me for the first time, Falm used her own quirk hypnosis on Izuku to protect me from Jonah. She hypnotized Jonah that he was a fighting genius, and then began to train Jonah. In the end, this hypnosis gradually evolved into a subconscious. Jonah would automatically switch to this subconscious when he heard the sound of gunfire. The previous fainting was because he hadn't heard the sound of gunfire for too long, so he fainted. However, this subconscious will consume a lot of physical strength. If Jonah faints again before Falm comes back, then the subconscious will still exist, but it will not appear on the surface, it is just lurking. Koko, the outside has been cleaned up, and Jonah can come out. Suddenly, the intercom hanging on Koko rang. I see. Jonah, let's go out. Let's go. Izuku tore off the blood-soaked cloth on his body and tied it to the wound on his right arm. Don't you need to disinfect it? Hurry up, I don't know when my strength will run out. Hi. Izuku followed Koko out of the underground base, and the others followed him out. The ground and the battlefield had been cleaned up almost. In addition to the blood on the ground and the corpses that had been piled up into a mountain, there were also 8 people standing next to the corpse mountain smoking and joking. Damn, aren't they afraid? Mineta swallowed and said in a low voice. They are all strong men who have walked out of the blood mountain and the sea of corpses. They are not afraid at all. For them, killing is a common occurrence. Ida also swallowed and said in a low voice. Hey, Glasses, who is that woman? Bakugo asked in a low voice. I advise Bakugo-kun that you'd better not have any ideas about her. She is the daughter of the shipping giant, with a huge network of contacts and sea routes. Moreover, she doesn't write novels at all. She is actually an arms dealer. It is said that she has more weapons than the navy, and is honored as the arms queen by some of her colleagues who also sell weapons. Tisk tisk, I didn't expect this beauty's backstage to be so powerful. Shangming Denki smacked his lips and said in a low voice. Then, Falm, remove Jonah's hypnosis. Do you really want to remove Jonah's hypnosis? This is not. This is Jonah's own idea, but I prefer the usual Jonah, who is super cute and easy to tease. Koko said while hugging Izuku with a cold face. Well, Jonah, look at me. Falm disliked her eye patch. Her right eye was a spiral eye. Izuku stared at that eye for a while and then fainted. Okay, the hypnotic effect has worn off. Jonah's original personality will return in a while. Really, it's so hard to find a disciple. Anyway, our team has a non-existent 9th person, which can deter the enemy. Hurry up now, change Jonah's clothes quickly. Hey! Don't be in a hurry now. Jonah's wounds haven't been treated yet. It's time to do it now. Koko ran into the underground base again with Izuku in her arms, and took off Izuku's clothes as quickly as possible. Wolyalu! So exciting! Toru Hagakure held up his mobile phone to record. I've wanted him to wear this set of clothes for a long time. Koko looked at Izuku, who was already wearing light green pajamas, and he was quite cute. Hey, Falm, you didn't really destroy his subconscious, did you? Koko looked at Falm standing behind her. No, it's just to integrate his subconscious and conscious mind. That's good, I don't want him to die because of my fault. This place is no longer usable, we have to move to another place. That's right, and I have to call someone to clean up this place. Falm, come on, help me take a photo of Jonah. Okay. After a while, Falm and Toru Hagakure's phones had a bunch of photos. I really can't bear to part with this kid. Koko rubbed Izuku's face hard. Then take him away. That's boring, let's just leave it like this, and through him, I might be able to open another support company here. What about World Snake now? What else can I do? Just leave it here, and they don't dare to take it back. Izuku seemed to be carried back home by Bakugo in a daze, and Hung Jun followed Bakugo and helped him carry the black suitcase. Thank you, Xiao Sheng and Hung Jun. Izuku returned home in a daze, closed the door in a daze, and lay down on the bed in a daze. Really, a loser is still a loser, but he is a loser who can play with a gun. Izuku playing with a gun is also quite handsome. The next morning, Izuku touched his dazed head and sat on the sofa. How do you feel about the other me? I don't know, my head is completely confused now. How are you? Similar to you, but I always feel that I have more combat experience in my head. That's not bad. By the way, I have to check the group to see what everyone is saying about this visit. The 1A class group at this time. Mineta Minoru, I didn't even sleep well last night. I was woken up by a fright. Kamiyama Denki, I'm the same. I've been having nightmares. Mirando Hibiki, I can't do anything without a querdity nightmare. Kirishima Ajiro, not manly at all. Mio Wabuki, super weak myself. Bakugo Katsuki, it was just a dream. You rubbish. Torino Shoto, yeah, but I'm still a little scared. Mio Wabuki, I remember Midoriya once said that he was a Quirtle's person. Kamiyama Denki. Mineta Minoru. Aoyama Yuga, why are you all silent? No matter what, I'm the brightest anyway. Midoriya Izuku, did everyone have a nightmare about what happened yesterday? I'm so sorry. Kamimura Denki, it's okay, it's just a dream, after all, it's not real. Ida Tinya, Izuku-san, you didn't have a quirk before? Midoriya Izuku, yes, I didn't have a quirk until I was in the third year of junior high school. Ida Tinya, in other words, Izuku's awakened quirk has been less than 3 months old, and he can exert such a powerful force. Midoriya Izuku, no, I'm not strong enough, I have to keep training. Midoriya Izuku, no, I have to keep training. Midoriya Izuku is offline. Kamimura Denki, doesn't he remember what happened yesterday? Erlang Xiang, it's best if you can't remember. Don't mess around with your idiot face. Chapter 66, Dual Personality. On the 28th, Monday, Izuku was always the first to come to class. Other me, do you remember what happened yesterday? No, no matter how much I think about it, I can't remember it. Is it really Falm's fault? This time, it must be Falm's personality that makes me unable to remember anything. No matter what, the most important thing now is to strive to become a hero. You're right. Izuku shook his head, opened the book and continued reading. The students in Class 1A are all big-hearted, not to mention people who have personality and don't panic. They also came to the classroom laughing and joking today. Hey! Izuku, we are going to the newly opened cafe today, do you want to go? Kaminari Denki put his left hand on Izuku's shoulder, and held a piece of advertising paper for a maid cafe in his right hand. Coffee shop? Okay, who's going? Me, Mineta, and Ashido, and the first place winner, 8 million. This time we will review while drinking coffee. There are quite a lot of people, I'll participate. Izuku smiled. But if I'm studying, do I have to call them Ida-kun and Todoroki-kun? It's okay to call me Ida, but let's forget about calling Bakugo and Todoroki-san. With their bad tempers, it would be strange if the cafe doesn't get blown up. Well, I suggest Kaminari-san run out of the window immediately. Hey? Why? Because you will be beaten up by me, you idiot. Your face. Izuku help me. Izuku was implicated by Kaminari. When Kaminari was beaten by Bakugo, he suddenly released his personality and Izuku was electrocuted by Kaminari. Zzzzzzz. Izuku spit out black smoke. Kamaru-kun, you're leaking electricity. Izuku said and lay motionless on his desk, obviously being stunned. What are you doing? Now I have to manage my body again? These guys are really troublesome. Izuku sat up again and touched his hair, which was still a little static. Xiaosheng, please stop bullying Kaminari-san, Mr. Izuo will be here soon. TCH. I'll let you go this time. Bakugo said, giving up the idea of beating Kaminari violently. Hey. Body. What are you doing? I actually passed out. I wanted to sleep a little longer. Izuku lay on the table and muttered quietly. Well, it seems that I have to bear it this time. I hope it won't be too difficult. But anyway, I have endured it with my body. As long as I don't expose any flaws, it will be fine. I'm so sleepy. But again can't sleep. Izuku yawned. The current Izuku is almost like a split personality. The first personality was stunned by Kaminari, and the second personality naturally took over. Izuku-san, please answer this question. Okay. Now Izuku still has to pretend to be full of energy. Get out of class was over, and Izuku, who had persisted in finishing the class, lay on the table again, trying to wake up his true body. Ara Allah, it actually takes a day to wake up. I feel very tired just after the last class. I am not the real body, I am the type that fights quickly and comes back quickly. Now I have to last for a whole day, the real body, you can't wake up soon? I'm so sleepy. Izuku shouted loudly in his heart for his true form. Izuku, are you okay? Ida-kun adjusted his glasses and looked at Izuku who was lying on the table. Why is Izuku so lethargic today? Ah, it's okay, I'm just recalling the knowledge points that the teacher just taught in the last class. Izuku said, rubbing his head, I know everything. Izuku-san really loves to study. By the way, the next class is Hero Basics. It seems that All Might will come to class. Let's go to the training room to change clothes now. All Might? That's great, let's go quickly. Izuku stood up and followed Ida out of the classroom. I'm so sleepy. It's a bit difficult to learn the appearance of the main body. All Might is the #1 favorite hero of the main body. It's best to learn it. Anyway, don't look for Xiaosheng and Todoroki-kun when sparring. Izuku yawned without trace. After changing into training clothes, Izuku and Ida walked into the training ground while chatting. The first part of this question is the Z value, so we need to change the number. Ida is so annoyed, I want to sleep. Oh, so that's how calculations are done. You are truly a genius. Izuku-san was able to come up with a solution so quickly to a question that even I had not figured out. All Might probably hasn't come yet. What should we do now? It's so annoying. I want to sleep. You can practice whatever you want. I have to train on my speed again. How about you? Then I'm going to practice my climbing speed. I have my mobile phone with me. We'll meet at that time. Just call me, Ida. Finally, I can find a place to rest. I can rest for a while. Izuku happily ran up the mountain and found a cool place to rest. 10 minutes later, Izuku's phone kept vibrating. Hey? Is it time? Izuku rubbed his eyes and took out his phone. Moxie, Allah, it's Ida-kun, I'm going down right now. Izuku put away his phone and quickly jumped down from the mountain. I've only rested for 10 minutes. I still really want to sleep. It's sparring practice. No matter who it is, I should be able to rest after defeating or being defeated. Izuku thought as he jumped off the mountain and stood on OU in front of Rumat. All Might. The current Izuku continues to play the role of his true form. Hey, Green Valley boy, you are here, then everyone in Class 1A is here, so today's training is to catch and kill one-on-one. Very good. Then let's draw lots. All Might smiled and took out a red lottery box. Draw numbers, it's convenient, and you won't have to face off against Xiaosheng and Todoroki Jun. However, I'm afraid that one of them will suddenly go crazy. Izuku thought like this and took out the ball from the lottery box. The number was 5. He had to play with number 15. Number 15 was the spokesperson for the pervert in the class, Mineta Minoru. Then please leave it to Mineta-kun. Izuku said with a smile to Minoru Mineta who was standing opposite. This guy is not only weak but also perverted. You can subdue him directly with just your kicks. Finish the fight and rest quickly. Izuku thought as he put on a mask, closed his mouth, and thought better. Then the confrontation training begins. With a command, Izuku rushed towards Mineta Minoru. Hey! Don't rush over her so quickly. Mineta Minoru pulled out several sticky fruits from his head and threw them at Izuku. Mineta-san, your speed of throwing the fruit is a bit too slow. It's not that slow. Izuku quickly dodged the sticky fruit thrown at him and kicked Mineta Minoru. Damn it! I won't give in so easily. Mineta Minoru rolled on the spot to avoid Izuku's kick, then pulled 2 sticky fruits from his head and stuck them on Izuku's butt. Get down! Mineta tried hard to drag Izuku to the ground. I didn't expect this guy to still have a lot of time, but now I'm no better than before. Izuku thought so, and simply stretched out his hands and started to pull Mineta Minoru's waist, and then this strange scene occurred. Izuku pulled Mineta Minoru's waist, and Mineta Minoru grabbed the two sticky fruits stuck to Izuku's butt and refused to let go. Mineta-san, could you please let it go? It's very embarrassing for us to be like this. I didn't expect this situation at all. No. I will definitely defeat you this time. Stab it. Izuku's pants were torn. At that time, Izuku threw Mineta Minoru out without even thinking. What was that sound just now? Sounds a bit familiar. Izuku thought. Chapter 67, End of Training and Review. Izuku turned around and saw, oh wow, his pants were torn. He quickly covered the two big torn holes on his butt with his hands. Well, All Might. Izuku blushed. Green Valley boy, you should go back and change your pants first. All Might covered his eyes with his hands, not daring to look. Okay. I can finally go back, it's so embarrassing. Izuku ran back holding his butt. On the way back to change clothes, Izuku met the General Department's counselor, who was also walking to the locker room. Sorry. Please give way. Why is there someone in front of me? This voice is... Oh, okay. The Shinso user said while quietly using his personality, and Izuku's eyes became dull. Why are you here? I'm here to change my pants. Why? When we were fighting against each other, they were accidentally damaged. Now I have to rush to change my pants. Really? Shinso touched Izuku's face with his hand teasingly. Well, it was very smooth and easy to pinch. This scene was captured by Mineta, who was causing trouble. Tisk, tisk. The Shinso user looked at Izuku's eyes again. He had big light green eyes, and his face was slightly reddish, maybe because of embarrassment or something else. Yes, she is also a proper heroine. It's powerful, and it's easy to be shy. Sometimes I really don't know whether you are a boy or a girl. Shinso touched Izuku's chin with his hand without fear, feeling a little lustful. Oh, I guess this fearless classmate will be crippled by Bakugo and Todoroki. Mineta, in line with the idea of leaving no room for outsiders, made a video of the entire incident. Sent to the class group. Ha 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 ha. Another good show. Mineta seemed to hear the explosion and the sound of ice breaking over at the training ground. In less than 30 seconds, Mineta Minoru could really hear Bakugo Katsuki's clear blasting sound and the sound of Todoroki releasing the ice path. TCH, are you here so soon? Forget it, I'll play with you next time. The Shinso person pinched Izuku's face again, and then ran into the woods and disappeared. Hey? What am I doing? Izuku's eyes regained clarity, and he looked around. What happened just now? Forget it, let's go change pants quickly. After changing pants, you can rest. I really want to sleep now. Izuku smacked his lips and continued to run towards the locker room holding his butt. Where is that purple-haired bastard? I'm going to kill him. Bakugo saw Izuku running to the locker room, but he didn't see the purple-haired bastard who was teasing Izuku. It's good that Izuku is fine, but what happened to Izuku that he ran out of the training ground so quickly? Todoroki looked around, but still didn't find the Shinso user. Whatever, that good-for-nothing is too useless anyway. Anyone can molest him. Only I can touch Fichu. Well, we're here anyway, let's go back and change clothes. By the way, take a look at Izuku's naked body. Look. In the locker room, Izuku yawned and took off his pants that had two big holes in them. Looking at the pants that were already in ruins, Izuku yawned again. It's so annoying. Now I have to mend my pants. I have to wear sports clothes to train for the hero basics in the next 2 days. It's so annoying. Please don't cause trouble for me again. Izuku thought as he wrapped the pants in a bag and changed into the school uniform. Looking at himself in the mirror with his tie still tied in a mess, Izuku curled his lips. He didn't expect that his tie-tying skills were so poor. As long as it doesn't violate the school rules, it's fine. It's so annoying. Forget it, go back quickly. I'm so sleepy. Izuku said, carrying the bag and walking towards the door of the locker room. Izuku just opened the door of the locker room and came from the store. There was a wave of ice and fire, and Bakugo and Todoroki started fighting again. You continue. Izuku closed the door to the locker room with a smile. What the hell? Why did the two of them start fighting again? What should I do now? My body, please get up quickly. I can't hold it any longer. Just when Izuku was having intermittent convulsions, the door to the locker room was violently destroyed by two forces. Izuku is mine. Yin Yang face. You're fucking thinking too much. Fiju is mine. You two are so noisy. Don't you know you can't use personality except in professional classes? You are so noisy. Smash. I want to sleep. You two are so annoying. Bang bang. Two powerful smash shots directly drove Bakugo and Todoroki into the wall. Izuku looked at the fists with white smoke and sighed in his heart. Okay now, I have to write another 2000 words of self-reflection. I want to sleep. When are you going to come out? I won't play anymore. After watching the video of the incident, teacher Shota Izawa decided that Bakugo and Todoroki each write a 2000-word review, and Izuku-san can stop Bakugo and Todoroki when they fight. Izuku was stunned when he heard this notification. What are you doing? Why do I have to stop the two of them from fighting? I don't have that obligation. I just want to sleep well now. Okay, no problem. Izuku smiled happily. I want to go back to sleep. After school in the afternoon, Izuku breathed a sigh of relief. He finally got a break. Suddenly, Shangming Denki appeared in front of Izuku. Let's go, Izuku, let's go to the maid cafe to review our lessons. Shangming Denki emphasized the word maid. Okay. Oh my god, why is the original body so rude? Izuku followed Shangming Denki and others to the maid cafe with a happy, not, face. Welcome back, Master Sama. So sleepy. I actually have to come here to review. The original body must have a problem with his brain. Let's find a seat first. What do you want to drink? I want a cappuccino. Give me a tiramisu. What do you want to drink, Izuku? Well, just boiled water is fine. So sleepy. Just boiled water. I don't like coffee very much. I want to go home and sleep. Then let's review, Izuku, do you know how to do this question? Shangming immediately took out the test paper that the teacher had just finished explaining in the morning and asked Izuku. Oh, this question is actually very simple, just like this, it's so annoying, why is Shangming so stupid? After reviewing for another hour, Izuku and the others packed their bags and went home. Haha. I'm still sleepy, but I have to do the training in the evening. Really, life in the main body is also very hard. Izuku yawned and whispered. Chapter 68, Final Exams Approaching. Izuku thought to himself as he walked towards home. As long as you finish your homework, you can rest. There is no need for today's exercise. It is very tiring. As long as you get through tonight, you can return the matter to the main body tomorrow. Izuku yawned again and said, with the key in your pocket opens the door to your home. I'm back. The house was empty. Mom won't be back for another 3 days. I'm so bored and sleepy. I might as well skip dinner. Izuku thought, rubbed his hair and walked into the room. He finished his homework and took a shower as quickly as possible. And then wrote a note to the main body, and Izuku lay on the bed and fell asleep. I can finally rest, main body, see you tomorrow. When I woke up the next morning, Izuku felt extremely hungry. What did I do yesterday? Didn't I have dinner? Izuku touched his hair, stood up and looked at the note on the table. As expected, it was another me who went to class yesterday, and you were extremely lazy. You didn't even eat dinner. Hey, you can just make something for breakfast. By the way, I didn't change the textbook last night. You can do it yourself. I'm sleepy and I'm going to bed first. Ah. I don't even know what you did yesterday. Did you cause any trouble? Stir up trouble. Does punching the noisy Xiaosheng and Todoroki-kun each count as smash? Ah. You are really causing trouble. Xiaosheng will definitely hit me. Izuku covered his face and shouted in the room. No, Mr. Izawa said that if Xiaosheng and Todoroki-kun fight again, you can give them both a smash punch. Is that so? If you don't go out quickly, the morning exercise time will be over. I almost forgot if you didn't tell me. Izuku hurriedly changed into clothes for morning exercise and ran out of the house. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Izuku was still the first one to come to school. At this time, Izuku was quite panicked because he punched Xiaosheng and Todoroki-kun into the wall yesterday. Although Mr. Aizawa allowed it, still quite panicked. It's over. Xiaosheng and Todoroki will definitely be targeted. Izuku sat in his seat, thinking nervously while reading a book. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Bakugo kicked open the door of the class. He had a bandage on his nose and a super unhappy expression on his face. How can it be repaired? He was actually beaten to the wall by Fiju. I must beat him to death today. That guy actually dared to hit me. Waste. 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 Maybe I can forgive him if he acts cute to me. Bakugo sat directly on Izuku's desk, holding Izuku's untied tie. Trash. Tell me. How the hell do you want to die? Cry. 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 Quick. Well, how about dying of old age? Izuku flexibly twisted his neck, and the tie that was not tied instantly fell apart. Izuku happily ran out of the classroom without a tie. Down. Holy shit, you fucking dare to run away. Bakugo immediately chased him out. Fuck you Banana Bala, you actually dare to resist. Bakugo and Izuku-san, you can't run around in the corridor. Ida-san was carrying his school bag and just walked into the corridor when he saw Bakugo chasing Izuku-san with a very ferocious expression. I don't want to either. Ida-kun, the key is that as soon as Xiaosheng came over, he asked me how I wanted to die. I don't want to die. Izuku ran smoothly. Trash. Naisuki. You'll die if I hit you. Is he really going to die? Hey, it can't be exploded. Izuku easily dodged one of Bakugo's blasts. Nisnia. You guys are so noisy. Teacher Aizawa suddenly appeared in the corridor at some point, with two restraints directly binding the two people who were fighting. Good morning, Mr. Aizawa. Izuku greeted Mr. Aizawa obediently. No one can escape a 1000-word review. Hi. Haiju, it's all your fault. Nisnia. Bakugo Katsuki, a 2000-word review. Bakugo looked extremely unhappy as Mr. Aizawa brought him into the class with a restraint cloth. Aren't you quite naughty today? Once in a while. Izuku thought so and put on his tie again, but of course he still couldn't tie it well. Okay, I don't want to say anything more about today's class meeting. In short, there are only 2 weeks left before the final exam. If you don't do well in the final exam, you will not be allowed to participate in the forest camp afterwards. A sleepover in the forest? What is that? Izuku shook his head. Special training for you. Special training. I want to participate. You should write a 1000-word review first and then talk about it. Oh. Izuku continued to write his review. Todoroki secretly glanced at Bakugo from the corner of his eye while reading the book, and Izuku behind him. The way Izuku is immersed in writing a review is cute too. Hello. Are you a devil? Bakugo wrote a review with an unhappy look on his face. Suddenly he noticed Todoroki-kun's gaze on his little tame, old Po, and turned his head to stare at Todoroki Chiaotsuo. Uniang face, what the hell are you looking at? Fiju is me. He didn't say who was whose, it doesn't matter how I look at it, besides, Izuku is mine. How can it be repaired? Lolyalu. The two big guys started to fight with each other, and the other students were very happy to eat melons. It's really troublesome, anyway, as long as they don't make trouble. Aizawa Shota glanced at them and lay down in his yellow sleeping bag. Ah, it's still comfortable in the sleeping bag. Hey, the main body, Xiaosheng and Hung Jun seem to be making trouble again, smash ready. Really? Izuku raised his head and looked at the two of them. There was no problem. Did I see it wrong? That's right, the anxious atmosphere in the air can open a barbecue stall. Atmosphere. Izuku raised his head again. The atmosphere was fine. Everyone was studying hard. Ida was taking notes. I can't do anything about writing a self-review. I'll ask him to copy the notes after class. Forget it, since you are blind, there is nothing I can do. But, the main body, can you buy me a sleeping bag, just like Aizawa teachers? Please, I don't have enough pocket money to buy that pipa, and I don't have enough money to buy a sleeping bag now. How about you ask Mr. Aizawa for a sleeping bag? You should study hard first. I'll see if I can buy a sleeping bag online after the forest training. No problem, you are the real one. Izuku quickly finished his 1000-word self-review. He raised his hand and stretched, and looked at the extremely unstable Bakugo Katsuki in front of him. Izuku curled his lips. Anyway, he could never catch up with Xiao Sheng. Xia Sheng's quirk was so powerful. I was originally a quirk-less waste, just a waste who inherited one for all. Izuku thought so and lay on the table, autistic as usual. It's over. The real one is autistic again. The other me, sometimes I wonder if you are my quirk? How is that possible? Isn't there a scientific basis for split personality? Of course I am not your Q. No matter how you look at it, I am still a useless person without a Q. Don't say that. At least as a useless person, we are still somewhat useful. At least we can block the sword for those with strong Q, such as All Might, Xiao Sheng and Hong Jun. What's more, we have a trump card. Don't be so depressed. Do you think I will be depressed? I want to be the new generation's number one. That's good. Ah, I have talked so much for the first time. I am so sleepy. I am going to sleep. There are still 2 weeks before the final exam. Chapter 69, Explosion. In the afternoon, Kaminari Electric invited Izuku to review in the cafe. No problem, I'm free in the afternoon too. Then it's settled, it's still in the cafe. The squad leader and Ashido are also coming. That's great. The monitor is second. I have a lot of questions that I haven't figured out yet. I have to ask him for advice. Bakugo was writing his review while listening to the chat between Kaminari and Izuku behind him. Tisk, rubbish is rubbish, you can't even answer such a simple question. Kaminari, can I attend your review meeting? The familiar and particularly annoying voices that yin-yang face. Bakugo turned around with his eyes open, and it turned out to be that annoying guy. It's no problem. You're in 5th place, so I'll leave it to you. Shang Ming said to Todoroki Jiaodong with a smile. Arnold, Bakugo, I don't understand a few questions here. Can you teach me more after school? Kirishima Ajuru ran into a volcano that was about to erupt at this time, which was quite unwise. Okay, how about I teach you until you die? Kirishima felt like he was about to enter a learning hell. After school, Izuku and others came to the maid cafe again. As soon as they entered the maid cafe, Izuku felt something was wrong. There was something wrong about this shop, but he couldn't explain it. Ontology, I feel something is wrong. Me too, it's better to be careful. MK3 is placed on the outermost layer of the school bag. When did you? Don't worry, we have gun licenses. Tisk, that's not what I want to ask. Izuku grinned and touched the MK3 on the outside of his school bag with his right hand, and then sighed. Sister Coco was right, touching the gun would be equivalent to being cursed. We'll sit where we did yesterday. Izuku, don't you want some coffee? I think the coffee here is pretty good. 8,000,000 sat down in the seats and greeted other students. No, I prefer to drink boiled water. Other me, do you think something will happen here? Don't you think there's a familiar smell here? It is indeed familiar, a particularly familiar smell, the smell of gunpowder. Correct answer. And it's that kind of particularly cheap AK. I said, I don't sell weapons, I don't even need to know about this kind of thing. If I'm not wrong, there is a special deal going on here. Even if the police come, it will be of no use. Because the other party also has a gun, and there are so many people in the coffee shop. Anyone can be taken hostage. That's right, so now it's up to us. Izuku, do you know how to solve this question? Just when Izuku was thinking about how to solve the problem, Todoroki leaned against Izuku with a piece of paper with the question written on it. This question can be solved by just putting forward the equation here. But Todoroki-kun, I remember you were sitting across from me. Why did you suddenly sit here? Izuku said while talking about the question. While looking at Kaminari Denki who was sitting across from him, Kaminari Denki was originally sitting next to him, so why did Todoroki-kun sit next to him in a blink of an eye? By the way, Izuku, I don't know how to do this question yet. Kaminari Denki was also very practical. He directly pulled out the English book, pointed at one of the questions and sent it to Izuku. This question tests subject postposition, so I choose C. Izuku still maintained his superb learning skills, constantly leading his classmates to overtake in corners, and even ranked 20th in the midterm exam. The famous Shang Ming Electric felt that he could pass the midterm exam again. I feel the smell of gunpowder in the air is getting stronger and stronger. Body, get ready. Good. Izuku carefully unzipped the outermost zipper of his school bag, and there was a Mk3 and a tactical knife. Just when Izuku reached into his school bag, Izuku's inner alarm rang loudly. Without thinking, he took Todoroki, who was close to him, in his arms and pressed him on the table. Get down! Boom! The front desk of the coffee shop suddenly exploded. The force of the explosion directly shattered the table at the front desk. The glass of the entire coffee shop was shattered. Dust flew all over the sky. Even a few lights above the head fell down. In the coffee shop, people drinking coffee in the hall covered their ears and curled up their bodies quickly, while those who reacted slowly froze there. For a while, explosions, cries, and screams could not be heard. You are really right. What are you thinking about? Hurry up and pick up your weapons and prepare to fight. Izuku shook his dazed head, grabbed the Mk3 and tactical knife from his school bag, and patted Todoroki's face with his right hand. Stay here, be careful. Izuku said, holding a knife in his mouth and an Mk3 in his hand as he rushed into the smoke to look for the culprit. On the other side, in the KFC opposite the cafe, Kirishima was studying bitterly when he suddenly heard a violent explosion. He jerked his head, thinking that Bakugo Katsuki had lost his temper again, but Hikari seemed to see a familiar yellow figure flashing past him. When he looked up, it was Bakugo who ran out just now. Kirishima dropped his pen and rushed out without thinking. As soon as he rushed out, Kirishima saw by the time Bakugo was standing at the door of KFC, the cafe opposite was emitting thick black smoke. No. This is impossible. Bakugo rushed to the cafe like crazy. Kirishima scratched his head and followed. Just when Bakugo rushed into the cafe, Izuku had already found the guy who caused the explosion. Under the cafe, there was a basement filled with coffee ingredients, and the culprit was holding an AK in his hand, looking at the bodies lying on the ground and a box of white powder on the ground with an evil smile. Ha ha ha! I am the strongest. You rubbish! What do you count for? I want to conquer the world. What is a hero? As long as I have this, everything is mine. Ha ha ha! The guy holding the AK laughed crazily, waving the AK in his hand constantly, exuding an aura of being a villain boss. Troublesome guy, do you think you are invincible with a gun? You are not even an enemy's lackey. Suddenly a vague voice appeared in the basement. Who? Who is it? The guy holding the AK suddenly became alert and waved the gun in the basement. Come out quickly. If you don't, I'll blow up this cafe. The guy holding the AK held the AK in one hand, and the other hand was constantly piling up gunpowder. Can Quiz produce gunpowder? It's a very convenient ability, at least better than me, a Quiz-less piece of trash. I don't care if you're a piece of trash or not, who the hell are you? Come out quickly. Otherwise, I'll blow up this cafe directly. The guy holding the AK put his other hand in front of the muzzle of the gun, and that hand was full of gunpowder. Who am I? Izuku's ethereal voice echoed in this basement. At this time, the other students in Class 1A also reacted and ran to the basement. They also heard Izuku's ethereal voice. Who am I? This time, even Bakugo, who ran over to find Izuku, heard it. They all gathered at the entrance of the basement and watched carefully. Who am I? I'm not a saint, nor a god of death. I'm just a piece of trash, the ninth person. As soon as Izuku finished speaking, there were 4 sounds of clothes being torn. The guy holding the AK and wanting to be the master of the world fell to the ground. His tendons in his hands and feet were cut, but only a little blood flowed. Izuku stood behind the guy, holding a sharp blade with a little blood in his hand. He stood in front of the guy, squatted down, and slapped the guy's face with a tactical knife. The one who conquered the world is neither you nor me. Stay in jail and reflect on your actions. Be good. Also, don't touch things like white powder. If you do, you will end up like today, or even worse. Chapter 70, End of the Incident. Who the hell are you? The guy lying on the ground looked at the guy in school uniform in front of him fiercely. UEI's school uniform? You're from UEI. You guessed it right, but unfortunately there's no prize. Okay, tell me where your gun came from, don't lie. Izuku started recording with a mobile phone. Do you think I'll tell you? I'm also a man of integrity. The guy lying on the ground was straightforward, with his head tilted to one side, looking very tough. I see, you look like a tough guy, then I won't be polite. Izuku sat directly on the guy and kept grinding the guy's clothes with a tactical knife. The person who taught me knife skills once said that if you meet someone who refuses to tell the information, don't worry, just cut his meat into sashimi, even if it's a god, he will tell the information you want. I haven't made sashimi, so come and try your hand with your body, okay? You. The guy lying on the ground never thought that the guy sitting on him was such a lunatic. If you don't tell me, I'm going to do it. Izuku pointed the blade at the guy's back, his face full of mockery. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. The guy finally broke away from the fantasy of white powder. He felt the cold blade on his back and the smell of blood on the tip of the blade. That's good. Tell me. I'm recording it with my phone. Izuku pressed the tactical knife against the guy's back while recording it with his phone. A few minutes later, the guy finally explained his whole story. So, you picked up this gun? Izuku stood up and sat on a box and asked. It's true, I definitely didn't lie. Okay, I don't care if you lied or not. Anyway, you have violated the hero law and the criminal law. What awaits you will be more than 5 years in prison. That's it. I have sent the recording just now to the number 1 hero All Might. He should like you very much. Ha! As expected, I will consume a lot of energy in this state. I will take a rest first. If you want to run, you can do it. Anyway, I am just a waste. Izuku's voice became smaller and smaller, and even the tactical knife in his hand fell to the ground with a ding-dong sound. For a while, the basement was quiet. Hyakika, what's the situation now? Mineta Minoru grabbed the thigh of Goro Hibiki and kept shaking. Well, I can't hear the sound. The incident should be over. As soon as Goro Hibiki finished speaking, Todoroki Shoto and Bakugo Katsuki rushed into the basement. They saw the enemy lying on the ground and Izuku sleeping on the box. Hey, who can explain what's going on now? Mineta Minoru and others came to the basement. Damn, my luck is too bad this time. I actually messed with a group of students from UE. The guy lying on the ground was still shouting. A minute later, All Might and the police arrived. So what's the situation now? The enemy was subdued by Izuku, but it seems that Izuku fell asleep because of exhaustion. Yami pointed helplessly at Bakugo and Shoto who were still arguing. So, the two of them started arguing about who would carry Izuku home. Is it necessary to argue about such a thing? I want to go back early and see the book I left at home. Oh my! Ida, why are you hitting me? Mineta Minoru squatted on the ground holding his head. If this wasn't a group, I would have wanted to add a mute package for you. The atmosphere of the class must not be destroyed by you. Ida's hands were emitting white smoke. As the head of the class, he must not allow things that corrupt the atmosphere to happen. So what should we do now? This guy will naturally be taken away by the police, and Izuku-kun. All Might, can you handle it? Okay. All Might suppressed the 2 angry bombs again and carried Izuku back to the UA health room. So, this guy really regards this place as his home, right? Therapy girl poked Izuku lying on the bed with her crutches. Therapy girl, I just brought him here to rest. There is no need to be so vengeful. All Might scratched his head and said. This guy is just like you. Every time he finishes training, he has to run to me. It's so annoying. Therapy girl didn't buy it. Also, although I don't know how your body is so good, no matter how powerful your ability is, you have to remember that you are not the All Might in his prime. You have to take care of your body. Got it. Well. Why did I fall asleep again? Just as All Might was chatting with the healing girl, Izuku sat up from the bed, touching his head. All Might. Izuku turned around and saw his favorite idol All Might again. But why do I keep meeting All Might in the health room in recent days? Am I too useless? Well, no wonder, I am a waste. Hey, Midoriya boy, you finally woke up. You did a pretty good job on this mission. All Might smiled and gave a thumbs up. Well, it can't be considered a mission, it's just an emergency. Izuku said with a smile while scratching his hair. So how do you feel now? The therapy girl asked seriously. I feel pretty good now. If there's no problem, I'll go back first. Izuku said as he quickly put on his coat and tie, carried his school bag and hurried out of the school. Today's training has not been completed yet. Mom will be back tomorrow, and there are still a lot of things to do. My hair seems a bit long. Let's get it cut on Saturday. Numanon, do you want a slicked back hairstyle? Is that hairstyle a bit too ugly? And Xiao Sheng will definitely scold him. Izuku opened the door with half-squinted eyes. Then just cut it as you like, it's pretty much the same anyway. That's true. No matter how you cut it, you will be scolded by Xiao Sheng. Izuku smiled awkwardly and prepared dinner. Today's dinner was pork chop rice. But why does that guy have an AK in his hand? It's obviously a banned item. Izuku said while eating the pork chop rice he made. Who knows, anyway, that guy was thrown into the police station, the police should take care of it. I guess so. I'm full. Izuku put the finished bowl in the dishwasher, then put on his training clothes and started running at night. The enemy is stronger than I thought, so training is the way to go. I agree with that. And I want to become number one and I must not relax in training. That's the energy. Come on, boy. It seems that you and I are the same age. Is it really okay to be so old-fashioned? There are still 1 week and 4 days left before the final exam. Chapter 71, The Guy Who Should Quit the Group. The next day, Izuku got up at 5 o'clock to train as usual. However, today he was quite happy, because today, his mother was coming back with his father. I haven't seen my father for a long time. Izuku shook his head trying to find the memories of himself and his father. Don't look for it. As far as I know, my father seems to have been working abroad since I was 3 years old. Even if he promised to come back, he would leave halfway due to work. Except for birthdays, he would give me gifts. When things come over, other times I can't even see them, except my mother. Don't worry. Since mom will see dad, that's fine. I'm just a loser. It's normal for dad not to want to see me. Izuku said softly. But since mom is back, there's no need to worry about anything. That's true. By the way, mom said they will come back by plane. I'll pick them up in the afternoon. No problem. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Izuku walked into the classroom with his school bag on his back and a happy look on his face. Dad is coming back today, I'm so happy. Izuku happily sat down and started flipping through the book to review. Today is also a day full of energy. Half an hour later, Bakugo Katsuki kicked open the classroom door again. If the door could talk, it would definitely say MMP, I provoke you. You're the only one who kicks me every day. As soon as Bakugo entered the classroom, he saw the guy he hated the most. He had a smile on his face every day, and he didn't know who he was showing it to. As soon as he saw his face, he wanted to beat him up, not really. This question should be done like this. Just mention the expression here. Izuku's serious look is also super cute. Beep beep. The phone in Izuku's hand suddenly became warm. What's going on? Izuku reluctantly covered his right hand. You guys finish this question first, I'm going to use the bathroom. Izuku waved his left hand and walked out of the classroom. Boss, you must come back as soon as possible. We two fools still need your guidance. Kamiming Electric naturally scolded himself. Don't worry, it'll be quick. Izuku walked into the bathroom and took out the flip phone from his right hand. Ever since he got this flip phone and belt, there was only one contact in the flip phone, and that was his mount and bodyguard, Pegasus. Moxie, who is that? Master, help me. I'm going to be dragged to humane destruction. Although the voice of the Pegasus was very mechanical, Izuku felt the despair of the Pegasus from the rapid sound and the sound of the chainsaw next to it. Where is your position? I'll be there right away. Izuku jumped out of the toilet window without thinking. 555 complete. Hengzing. A minute later, Fuzzies climbed on the wall and secretly watched his motorcycle being taken away by the police. Mobile Pegasus, I can't help you with this. Who told you to park in a no parking area without anything to do, and you were also taken away by the police? You have such poor intelligence. I don't have a mount like you. Mobile Pegasus, please leave the group. Don't bother me. Master. I still need to work harder. The voice of the Pegasus rang in Fuzzies' ears. Okay. I understand. I will take you away when the police get you to the traffic control center. Don't make any noise now. Thank you, Master. I still think it's more practical for you to quit the group. 555, I was despised by my master. It's obviously you who is mentally retarded, okay? The majestic artificial intelligence would actually be dragged away by the police. If I were your master, I would have destroyed you before the police came. 20 minutes later, Izuku ran back to class with an impatient look on his face. Kaminari Denki and Ashido Sana were knocked down by Shota Izawa because they had not finished their homework during the previous wave of homework submissions. I told you to write first, why haven't you finished your homework yet? Woohoo! We actually started writing after you left. But we can't do a single question. It's really hard for you to be able to pass the hero examination. Izuku scratched his face with his fingers. What should we do now? Being hung here all the time is not an option. Kaminari Denki shook his hand and asked Izuku for help. What else can you do? Copy today's homework 10 times to make up for it, and then I'll leave the cleaning to you today. Shota Izawa picked his ears and said, while referring to the two bad guys who didn't do their homework. The child was put down. Yes. The two hard-working dolls sat down obediently and began to listen to the class. Tisk tisk tisk, idiots are idiots. Minoru Mineta, who was sitting in his seat, looked at Kaminari Denki and Ashido Sana with the posture and eyes of a boss. TCH. You guy. You are so short and pretty, but you can actually get into the top 10. You simply don't take our efforts seriously. Shangming Electric's eyes burst out with flames. Wait a minute, what do you mean by not taking your efforts seriously? I'll touch your conscience and ask, have you studied seriously? Mineta Minoru looked at the two scumbags with contempt. One of you. One knows how to play games, and the other knows how to hang out. The two of you touch your conscience and talk about it. Do you two really study hard? I'm sorry, boss, we were both wrong. But it's an indisputable fact that you are short and sexy. Damn, it hurts. Hee. Izuku sat in his seat and watched the students behind him joking with each other, and smiled. Sure enough, school is much more fun than other places. At lunch, All Might found Izuku. Izuku-kun, can we have lunch together? I brought a lunchbox. All Might, do you know that the small lunchbox doesn't match your current style? Half an hour later, Izuku-kun and All Might finished lunch and were drinking tea leisurely again. Why did I say again? All Might, you asked me to come this time because of yesterday's explosion, right? That's right, Midoriya, this explosion is not as simple as it seems. Whether it's the gun or the white powder, it was given to that guy by another person or organization. Did you ask me to come here just for this? Do you want me to investigate that organization? No, you are still a student after all. How can I let you perform such a dangerous mission? But you are a participant in this matter. In order to protect your life, your name will not be on this matter. Is that okay? I have no problem. All Might, this tea is delicious. This is cherry blossom tea. You have a good taste, boy. This is cherry blossom tea. Sakura, whatever, it's the same anyway. Izuku suddenly put down the teacup. I'm done. Thank you for the treat. Then I'll go prepare for the afternoon class. Goodbye, All Might. Izuku bowed to All Might and walked out of the office. There was only 1 week and 3 days left before the final exam. After the exam, there would be a high-intensity forest training. There must be no mistakes. Only by becoming stronger can we save others, only by becoming stronger can we not be trapped, only by becoming stronger can we surpass. Xiao Shang. Izuku kept muttering. In order not to disappoint others' expectations, let's become stronger together. No problem, the original body. Chapter 72, Mom is back. After school in the afternoon, Izuku ran out of the classroom at a super fast speed. Kamimura Denki wanted to stop him to help them with their homework. Why did Izuku run so fast today? I wanted him to help us two rookies with tutoring. Kamimura Denki said weakly while lying on the table. Humph, no matter how I tutor you two, you are idiots. Mineta Minoru started to provoke Kamimura Denki and Ashido Mina again. Tisk. Bakugo also packed his school bag at this time, looking at the few people who were joking with contempt. If you have this leisure time to talk nonsense, you might as well study hard. Looking at the look of Fiju, it should be Uncle and Aunt Yunza who are back. No wonder Fiju is so happy today. Hung Jun packed his school bag and quietly followed Midoriya. Todoroki Shoto, maintain your high and cold image. The floor is full of your and the class monitor's moral integrity. I can't finish sweeping it no matter how hard I try. Mom's plane arrives at 5 p.m., and now it's 4:30 p.m., which is plenty of time. Izuku hailed a taxi on the side of the road. Please take me to the airport. Okay, brother. The driver was very enthusiastic. He drove while glancing at the kid sitting in the back seat. This kid looked familiar. He was wearing the school uniform of UE and had emerald green hair. Isn't this my daughter's favorite UE student, Izuku Midoriya, nicknamed Doll? That, brother, may I ask, are you Izuku Midoriya? The driver asked cautiously. Mr. Driver, do you recognize me? Izuku pointed at himself. He and the driver didn't know each other at all. How could Mr. Driver recognize me? My daughter recognized you. She was very happy to see your performance at the UA Sports Festival. She also said that she wants to be a hero like you in the future. Let me tell you, my daughter. When the driver mentioned the topic of interest, and it was about his own daughter, he couldn't stop talking. Yet. I can hear that the driver loves his daughter very much. Of course, she is my own daughter after all, I love her very much. The taxi stopped steadily at the temporary stop at the airport. Hey, brother, can I trouble you for something? Izuku was stopped by the driver when he opened the door. The driver held a pen and a notebook and looked at Izuku. My daughter has always wanted your autograph, you see. No problem. Izuku picked up the pen and signed the notebook very happily. After signing, Izuku waved to the driver and walked towards the airport. Mom's plane is flight 2563, which will arrive at 5 o'clock. It's 4:50 now, and Dad and Mom will arrive at the airport in 10 minutes. Izuku's eyes were full of excitement. At 5:05, Midoriya Inoko looked at Izuku with an apologetic look. Sorry, Izuku, Dad, didn't have time to come back because of work again. You're a good man. Izuku lowered his head for a while, and immediately helped his mother with the luggage with a smile. Mom, where did you and Dad go this time? We went to Osaka and Tokyo. I didn't expect Tokyo to become so luxurious. After all, it's the capital. Oh, I brought you a souvenir. You must like it very much. Mom suddenly thought of something and took out a special gift from the suitcase. Jong, this is the out-of-print All Might figure I bought in Osaka. Mom raised the All Might figure in her hand with great joy. She knew how much Izuku admired All Might, so she bought Izuku's favorite figure as a gift for him. Wow! It's an out-of-print All Might figure. I want this so much, thank you, Mom. Izuku's eyes began to shine as he took the figure. I've wanted this figure for a long time, but it's always out of stock. Now I finally have it. I'm one step closer to collecting all the out-of-print All Might figures. Every figure fan has such a wish, that is, to collect all the out-of-print figures of their favorite idols, and Midoriya Izuku, an All Might figure fan, is of course no exception. Looking at Izuku's happy look, Midoriya Yunza smiled. She knew that Izuku was happy again. Mom. Let's go home. Yes. In a black car, Todoroki watched Izuku and Aunt Yunza get into a taxi and leave. He closed the window and looked at the driver in the driver's seat. Let's go home. Okay, young master. Endeavor will go back to have dinner with his family tonight. Endeavor will be very happy to hear that you are home. Humph, maybe he is very happy to see that I used his half of his ability. Let's go back and meet that bastard Dad. Todoroki looked out the window again, and the sunset was sinking. It was already evening when Midoriya and the others returned home. Mom, are we having dinner outside today? No, I learned a new way to make pork chop rice. Do you want to try it? Yes. Izuku waved his hands, and his eyes burst into light. Okay, let me show off my skills. Today we'll have a pork chop rice with fish intestines. Mom rolled up her sleeves, not looking tired at all after just getting off the plane. Then I'll wait for Mom's delicious food. Izuku put the figurine into the room obediently, then he opened his luggage and put Mom's clothes back into her closet. After helping Mom sort out her clothes, Izuku smelled a fragrance coming from the kitchen. What a nice smell! It's fried pork chops and fish intestines. Mom has already prepared dinner. Izuku happily waved his hands and ran out of the room. Pork chop rice, my dinner is delicious pork chop rice, la la la. Izuku sat down happily on the chair, just like when he was a child. He looked forward to watching his mother bring the fragrant pork chop rice to the table. Izuku took the chopsticks and put his hands together. I'm starting. As soon as Izuku finished speaking, he ate the pork chop rice with fish intestines in big mouthfuls. So delicious. Mom, your skill in making pork chop rice has improved again, it's so delicious. As long as you like it. Yunzi supported her slightly fat face with her hands and looked at Izuku with a smile. Sure enough, her baby is so cute, and he also went to the UA school, which made me, as a mother, so proud. Ah! So delicious. Izuku finished the last bite of pork chop rice and felt a little unsatisfied. Mom, is there any more? You little greedy bean, don't eat so much at night, don't you have to train at night, hurry up. Yunzi pinched Midoriya's nose. Humph. Izuku pretended to be angry for a while, then ran down the dining table to change into training clothes. Then Mom, I'm going out for training. Be careful on the road. Got it. Chapter 73, Written Exam and Essay. Now, there is only 1 week until the final exam, and everyone is working hard to prepare for the exam. Even Kaminari Denki and Ashido Sana, who dislike studying the most, have begun to pick up books and start chewing. This question should be written like this, and then the expression must be changed like this. Do you understand, Mineta-san? Well, I understand. I didn't expect you, Izuku-kun, to be able to do this kind of question. This question is already beyond the scope. Mineta Minoru rarely turned into a pervert and was still serious. He concentrated on asking Izuku questions. I'm just like you. I use the time that others spend playing games and reading comics to read books and train. But what are you reading? Is it a good-looking extracurricular book? Lend me a couple of them when you have time. You don't need to know that kind of thing. Mineta Minoru left awkwardly. If I really show the notebook to the little angel Izuku, I will definitely be confused by Bakugo and Todoroki. The big boss beat me to pieces, the kind that happens every time I see him. Is that so? Izuku scratched his face, turned around and jumped towards the sea of questions again. Learning makes me happy. Time disappeared in this review, and it quickly came to Thursday. There was only 1 day left before the final exam tomorrow. On this day, Izuku was reading in a small English book while eating pork chop rice. Izuku-kun is really hard-working. I didn't expect that he was memorizing English words while eating. Ida-san, who was sitting opposite him, said. After all, studying is a student's bounden duty, and I have absolutely no confidence in the final exam. Izuku smiled and continued to look at the vocabulary book while eating. Suddenly, his head was hit by an elbow, and the vocabulary book was no longer there. Carefully falling into the pork chop rice, Izuku turned around and saw that it was Class B's character, Monokuma Nioto. Hey, I'm really sorry, but it's not surprising that he's from Class A. After all, they're all a bunch of perverts. And I heard that you guys seem to have had a fight with the hero killer, right? It's really scary. It would be really scary if we would be involved in the trouble you created in the future. Poof. When Ningren was going to continue to ridicule the classmates of Class A, he received a strong blow on the neck. Standing behind him was the recognized eldest sister of Class B, Kazuka Kendo. I have said that you are not allowed to hate your classmates in school, nor are you allowed to hate your classmates in Class A. They are admitted based on their ability. You are a bastard who has no ability. She is indeed the eldest sister of Class B. By the way, the content of your final exam has not been made public, right? I can tell you. Kendo Kazuka said with a smile to everyone in Class A. 20 minutes later, Izuku, who was not in the mood for lunch, immediately returned to class and began analyzing the final exam. A robot? Even if the final exam is a robot for the entrance exam, we can't take it lightly. We have to start analyzing the enemy's mission now, and the data of the enemy we encountered for the first time, and now although his body data can beat the robot, what if the final exam is a confrontation between the class, what if the exam is a battle with the teacher? These things must be taken into consideration. Izuku said calmly. I wrote it in my notebook and kept thinking about it while I was writing it. I am worthy of being a top student. Humph, trash is trash, no matter what enemy you encounter, just blow it up anyway. Bakugo turned to look at Izuku writing notes and laughed habitually. No. That's right, for Xiao Sheng, he can pass any test easily. Izuku still didn't dare to look Bakugo in the eyes, and drifted to the side out of habit. Tisk. Bakugo rubbed his head and turned around. This guy doesn't look at me, does he want to die? Sure enough, I would be more comfortable if I left Xiao Sheng. The main body is indeed very timid. How can I not? The time came on Saturday. Izuku finished writing the test paper with confidence and looked at Shota Izawa, who was the invigilator. I have written many articles on that website, and the response has been good. Everyone seems to like it. It is indeed correct to write articles about Class A from a student's perspective. Hehe, the more I think about it, the more I get it. Happy. Hey. The main body, Mr. Izawa is here. He notices that you are smiling. If the teacher misunderstands that you are cheating, your grades will be cleared. Oh. Izuku immediately covered his mouth with his hands. It seems that you have finished writing, so please hand in the paper. Teacher Izawa took the paper. Xiang Ying's test paper was divided into 6 pages, covering all the subjects they had studied. Not only were there many questions, but they were also complicated. Maybe the last question will test you on the hero method, and the next question may test you on the movement pattern of the Armstrong cyclotron cannon. You can refer to the difficulty of the test by the 2 people sitting in the back seat, Kaminari Denki and Ashido Sana. Shit expression. Then can I leave first? Izuku whispered to Shota Izawa. Today's article has not been updated yet. If it is later, he might be urged by his book friends. Well, okay, you can go back. Thank you, teacher. Izuku packed up the things on the table as quickly as possible, and then left the examination room quietly and quickly. Tisk, this loser can only study and take exams quickly. Bakugo curled his lips. Teacher, I'll hand in the paper too. The 2 guys who couldn't deal with each other raised their hands to hand in the paper at the same time. Wow! Unexpectedly, it was the 3 of them who handed in the paper in advance this time. It seems that my inspection speed will be accelerated, and I can't let them fall behind. Ida-kun and 8,000,000 thought so. The time came to noon. Izuku returned home early, locked himself in the room and started coding. Yunza was suddenly a little curious about why his doll suddenly liked playing on the computer. He didn't usually just use the computer. Have you watched Almit's video? Izuku, open the door. I peeled some fruit. Do you want to eat it? Hinza knocked on Izuku's door. I want to eat. Izuku naturally switched the web page to a learning web page and opened the door. Wow! It's actually an apple, thank you mom. Izuku happily took the apple, then walked back to his seat without closing the door and started eating the fruit while looking at the study materials. It's true that he is studying. My baby is indeed the most well-behaved. Yunza quietly closed the door. As expected, his child didn't contract any strange problems. In fact, the symptoms have been there for a long time, or in other words, the illness is already serious. Izuku was still writing the article he wanted to write happily. I have to tell you that I won't be able to write articles for the next month. After all, I am in school now, and I will also participate in that forest camp. Izuku said, continuing to type on the keyboard. His own website says. Sorry, everyone, due to some special reasons, I need to stop updating for a while. The suspension time is about a month, but don't worry, I will post immediately after the matter is over. The main reason for stopping updating is because I want to save more manuscripts. So that's it, okay. As soon as this article was posted, a bunch of people commented underground. Please hug my husband, no. Damn, I will die if I don't update this article in a month. Headphone party competition high, 1 month? Damn, if you don't post in a month, I will definitely come to your door to deliver the blades. Green Valley Little Angel, please write more clips of Green Valley. In more than 10 articles, there are not even a few scenes of Green Valley Little Angel. Please tell me, I really like to see Mr. Midoriya and our Bayo in the same frame, it feels so cool. The expression of a strong man, there are a lot of scenes between Bakugo and Todoroki. You probably like Todoroki, don't, there is no future for Todoroki. Dark Myth, what did you say? Detonation also has a future, right? Do you dare to challenge yourself? The expression of a strong man, whoever comes is afraid of whoever comes. Fighting pictures. Izuku tugged at the corner of his mouth, then closed the web page, took out a medicine bottle from a secret place on the desk, poured out 2 pills and drank them. Chapter 74, Battle Against All Might. It wasn't until Izuku's own biological clock started to ring that Izuku realized that it was already 5 o'clock in the morning. Although he often stayed up late before, he had never been like this since he became a hero. It sounds like staying up all night won't be difficult. Izuku scratched his head and looked at the nearly 100,000-word article already written on the computer. Yet, it's so cool to write. Izuku smiled and stretched. Okay, I have to change my clothes for training. There is also a practical test today. I wonder if my plan will come in handy? Or do I still need to use that thing? It's just a final exam, so there's no need for SCR. That's true, then I won't bring it with me. Izuku thought as he changed his clothes. Every day's training is so tiring, can't you take a day off? No, you have to persevere in exercising. You definitely can't do it halfway. But I seem to remember that you didn't go for a night run when I fainted. I need to increase the amount today. No. At 8:30 in the morning, Izuku, wearing his battle uniform, arrived at the exam location with other students. 8 teachers appeared in front of them. 9 teachers versus 20 people? It looks like a 2-on-1 situation. Everyone, now it's 2 students versus a teacher. I've posted the main thing to the group, everyone should have a look. Izuku looked at his classmates with a smile. I didn't expect that Izuku-kun was really fooled, but don't worry, we will definitely pass this time. Kaminari touched his hair and gave Izuku a thumbs up. Hey? Izuku, what the hell are you posting in the group again? Bakugo looked at Izuku with an unhappy expression. What does this good-for-nothing want to do? It seems that you all know the content of this final exam. Yes, it is a team of 2 people fighting against the teacher. There are 2 ways to win. One is to use special handcuffs to cuff the enemy teacher, and the other is to escape from the fighting area. The principal got out of Shota Aizawa's restraints and jumped to the ground. So first of all, Todoroki versus 8 million versus me. Aizawa Shota said to Todoroki and 8 million with a smile. Then, Midoriya and Bakugo are paired together. Bakugo glanced at Izuku with an unhappy expression. I will be your opponent. All Might suddenly appeared in front of the 2 of them. Is it really All Might? Izuku swallowed a sip of saliva and looked at All Might with a nervous look on his face. His idol turned into an enemy. Although it was just a character set for the final exam, he still didn't want to fight All Might. Ah! 2 young men, let's work together to defeat me. Can I back off for a moment? No. Then you can only find a way to win or escape. The current Xiao Sheng and I will definitely not be able to beat All Might, but Xiao Sheng is not the kind of person who gives up easily, so let's give it a try. Izuku shook his fist. We have prepared 10 venues for each group to start testing at the same time. Don't waste time now, get on the campus bus and set off. Izuku and Bakugo got on the school bus one after another, and they sat far apart. What do you think of this battle, the other me? If you go all out, you will definitely lose. If you want to win, you can only be smart. 2 ways, the 2 of us came up with it together. Izuku took out a bullet he had in his pocket and played with it without leaving any trace. All Might is almost omnipotent and his power is so powerful that it makes people despair. How on earth are we going to fight this? Sacrifice yourself in exchange for victory. This is the only way to win by force. If you escape and win, we have to consider the risk of All Might catching up. The current situation is quite difficult. The unstable factor Xiao Sheng is really difficult to predict. I can't figure out whether he wants to fight or retreat. It's so annoying. Izuku kept thinking while biting the bullet. If Bakugo is knocked unconscious by All Might, can we use our trump card? May I? That's okay. It's so annoying, I don't know either. Izuku put the bullet back into his small backpack, and then started thinking wildly again. Can Xiao Sheng and I really defeat All Might? He is number 1. No matter what, if you are knocked unconscious, then it is my turn. I am knocked unconscious. No matter what, you have to get up and continue fighting until All Might has no strength. This time I was on fire. Then let's go together. Izuku clenched his fists, eyes sparkling. 3 minutes later, All Might and Izuku arrived at the testing site. I will wear weight rings that are half my own weight to compete with you. All Might put weight rings on his hands and feet. You guys should discuss tactics first and then come in. All Might said and turned around and walked into the testing venue. All Might! Izuku called out to All Might. What's wrong? Green Valley boy? Are you going to back down? In this test, can I see All Might as an enemy? Izuku asked seriously. Bagafichu, the opponent for the test is of course the enemy. If you dare to hold me back in this test, give me Nisnya. Bakugo is right. You can treat me as an enemy this time. Okay, I won't say much. You only have half an hour to defeat me. Don't waste time. I know. Izuku clenched his fists. This time, All Might is the enemy. Then I'll go in first. All Might waved his hand and jumped into the test field. A minute later, the gate of the test field opened, and Izuku was the first to enter the test field. Bakugo was stunned for 2 seconds, and he said tisk and surpassed Izuku directly. Let me deal with All Might this time. You, a waste, just watch from the side. The two walked into the test field one after the other. Izuku was now tense, and from time to time he glanced at Xiao Sheng in front of him on the left. The two did not say a word. Xiao Sheng has never communicated with me normally. There will be a lot of things in this battle. Just when Izuku was thinking about it, a huge wind pressure rushed towards the two with dust. You can't be so leisurely, I am your enemy now. All Might stood in the dust, smiling at the childhood sweethearts. I've wanted to fight you like this for a long time. Bakugo rushed towards All Might. Izuku stretched out his hand and put it down again. Oh, then I'll have a good fight with you. All Might also rushed towards Bakugo. He grabbed Bakugo Katsuki's face directly. Bakugo Katsuki was grabbed by the face but he directly used quirk to bombard All Might's body. Tisk. It still hurts a little. Normally, if you are grabbed on the face, you should struggle. How could it be? Katsuki is still as strong as ever. Two people fighting All Might, there is absolutely no chance of winning without the help of another person, but Katsuki will definitely not want my help. The two of them are just fighting a little, we and All Might are the real war. That's what I mean. Izuku touched his right arm. If you want to defeat me, this skill alone is not enough. All Might pressed Bakugo Katsuki into the ground skillfully, then turned to look at Izuku Midoriya who was standing aside and watching the show. It's your turn next. Chapter 75, Victory, so annoying. It's your turn next. The last question. Izuku said as he stepped back while accumulating strength. Go ahead, enemies are usually happy to answer your questions. All Might smiled and walked towards Izuku. All Might, what do you think the etiquette of war is? The etiquette of war? I really don't know about that kind of thing. All Might shrugged and said. What kind of a question is this kid asking? Pushing the opponent with all your strength is the basic etiquette of war. All Might, we are now at war. Izuku also laughed, gathering strength in his hands, and he rushed towards All Might with a smile. Let's start our war now. Bakugo had actually fainted when All Might pressed him into the soil, but his strong spirit and self-esteem immediately made him sober. What's the point of fighting that loser? Are you looking down on me? As soon as Bakugo opened his eyes, he saw the childhood friend he hated the most, not fighting All Might. Bang, bang, bang. In just over 10 seconds, Izuku and All Might collided with each other's hands and feet more than 10 times, and each collision made a loud noise. As expected of All Might, he is stronger than I thought. Izuku said this and punched him again. Tisk. He is so good at fighting, he has improved a lot. All Might also raised his fist and punched Izuku. Boom. I can actually tie with All Might. But now is not the time to be happy. Roar, you can actually fight me like this, but now is just the beginning. Then continue. Neither side wants to lose. Puff. Izuku suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. The previous punch injured him. Watch this. All Might hit Izuku's stomach with another straight punch, and Izuku was blown away. Ha! Izuku crashed into a building, and the building turned into ruins. Where the hell are you looking at? Just when All Might was about to take a break, the voice of Bakugo suddenly came from behind him. All Might turned his head and saw a huge explosion. Tisk. All Might immediately put his hands in front of his chest to block it. Bakugo took the opportunity to rush up and plan to hit All Might hard. Oh, I was underestimated. All Might grabbed one of Bakugo's hands and threw him away. Watch out! Another huge explosion hit All Might. It hurts. All Might patted the burning part of his body. Suddenly, he felt a special sight looking at him. Izuku crawled out of the ruins at some point, staring at All Might with a deep green eye. Now it starts, a round-robin battle. Izuku rushed towards All Might again, and the two sides started fighting again. Izuku was now quite aggressive, and he and All Might were almost wounded in exchange for wounds, with the purpose of weakening All Might's fighting will. Only by being crazier than the enemy can you defeat the enemy. Izuku punched All Might's stomach with a fierce straight punch with his left hand. I've been waiting for this from you. All Might felt a little uncomfortable looking at Izuku like this. This is not the little angel I know. All Might grabbed Izuku's left hand and lifted him up. How can I repair it? Izuku kept struggling, trying to punch All Might again. His face was covered with blood, and there was a wound on his forehead that was constantly bleeding. I can't reach it. How abominable! Izuku's right hand was waving constantly. Suddenly, he thought of something. With a click sound, Izuku's whole body suddenly grew taller. Izuku hit All Might's stomach with another smash punch. All Might felt pain and let go of Izuku's left hand. After Izuku fell to the ground, he immediately rushed towards All Might again, his left hand fluttering like a flag. In order to attack me, he was willing to dislocate his left hand. He is simply a living madman. All Might was actually frightened by Izuku and took a few steps back. This time, he actually dodged Izuku's attack instead of taking it hard like before. Izuku changed his footsteps and hit All Might with a whip kick, which was blocked by All Might. Ah! Izuku's feet kept changing, and tricky kicks kept bombarding All Might's body. The situation seemed to be developing in a direction that was favorable to Izuku. Use all your strength. All Might. Do you still have the etiquette of war? Use all your strength. Izuku shouted and slammed another punch on All Might's protective arms. Madman. Absolutely madman. For victory. At any cost. Izuku's offensive suddenly accelerated again, and attacks with green arcs continued to hit All Might's body. All Might was actually exhausted and had no room to fight back. Every punch and every kick almost used all the strength. The results of training are very effective. All Might thought while defending. Suddenly, All Might's defense suddenly had a gap, giving Izuku an opportunity. Now! Izuku saw this gap and directly took out the handcuffs in his small backpack and buckled them on All Might's hands. Beep! Time is up! Midoriya Izuku, Bakugo Katsuki, passed the test. After Izuku heard the broadcast, he lay directly on the ground, gasping for air. His face was covered in blood and he couldn't see anything at all. He could only rely on feeling to put his dislocated left hand back. You can actually endure the pain and straighten your left hand. He is such a stubborn guy, huh? Why did he faint? 20 minutes later, All Might sent the two fainted guys back to the temporary aid station at the testing site. Humph! It's not All Might's fault this time. It wasn't meant to be. Forget it, put them on the hospital bed quickly, I still have to treat them. Then I'll leave it to you, healing girl. After the treatment girl finished treating the two little guys, it was a little nerve-wracking to look at Izuku's still purple and swollen scars. All Might, you really didn't do anything extreme. How could I have done something like that? I was always beaten in the battle with the Green Valley Boy, but I have never seen that kind of Green Valley Boy. A monster like a wild beast, a monster that will do whatever it takes to win. His injury will require him to stay for at least 2 more days before he can go back. You'd better call this kid's mother. No. There's no need to make phone calls. I can go back by myself. Izuku Midoriya, who had just woken up, said immediately after hearing the conversation between All Might and the therapy girl. How can you go back on your own in this state? Just lie down for me. The therapy girl said while pressing Izuku down on the hospital bed. Actually, it's nothing at all. I can go back by myself. Hiss, it hurts. Izuku covered his left arm. It looks like it was a dislocation just now, and now it hurts. Midoriya boy, what did you do? You just now are not like you before. All Might looked at Izuku cautiously. Hey, I seemed to have only one thought at that time. Izuku rubbed his hair. Use all your strength to knock your opponent down and then pass. That's probably what it's like. Izuku said, relying on the power of his right hand to push himself up, and then put on his school uniform. Hey! You can't go anywhere now. You have to recover. All Might stretched out his hand to stop Izuku. I've passed the exam, so I should be able to go back. I don't want to stay here anymore. Izuku dodged, avoided All Might's hand, and left the testing point, limping. He limped out of the viewing room. I don't even want to be with Kiken, it's so annoying. Izuku whispered as he walked. It was like that at the beginning, and then I was hit on the head with a stick. That's when I differentiated. At that time I thought my personality had awakened. Actually, it's just a split personality. So annoying. Go back and have a good sleep. It will be fine tomorrow. Izuku's shadow lengthened in the sun. A body. 2 personalities. See you next time. Who could it be? Chapter 76. Izuku opened the door with a smile on his face. The scar on his head had scabbed over, which was a bit ugly. However, because his hair was too long, he could completely hide the scar. Mom, I'm back. Have you finished the exam? Yet. I did pretty well on the exam. I should be able to participate in the forest camp. Mom, I'm going back to the room first. Izuku was about to go back to the room when his mother grabbed his left hand. It hurts. Izuku, Grandpa sent a box of things before. It seems to be specially for you, Izuku. Don't you take a look? Mom pointed to the box next to the door. I'll take a look, thank you, Mom, but Mom, I'm a little tired now. I want to go to the room and have a rest. I don't want to eat dinner either, so don't make mine. Izuku smiled and picked up the box with his right hand. Then he walked into the room carrying his school bag. As soon as Izuku returned to the room, he closed the door, threw the box and school bag aside, and threw himself on the bed without even taking off his clothes. So tired. And my left shoulder hurts so much. My mother just pulled me. It hurts so much. I'm so sleepy, but I can't sleep. But I have to sleep, otherwise it will hurt even more. So, do I have to take sleeping pills again? Ming Ming decided not to eat when he was in 2nd grade. But it's impossible not to eat now. It's so annoying. He didn't know how Izuku fell asleep in the end, but he was certain that he had never touched the almost expired sleeping pills he had placed in the corner. At 4:30 in the afternoon, Bakugo finally woke up from his coma. At this time, the test was over. Tisk, I actually passed out. I don't know if I passed the test or not. Hey, Bakugo boy, you finally woke up. All Might? Where's Fiju? He has gone back. That idiot. He was able to go back after being so seriously injured. Can we only say that the idiot is physically stronger? Bakugo covered his face with his hands. I clearly said I wouldn't use his power. Do you still want to rest here? Have a rest. I have to go back too. Bakugo also got up, changed his clothes, and walked back home. Now, there are only 2 teams that have failed. But they probably don't know that even if they fail, they can still participate in the forest camp. Shota Izawa walked into the test viewing point at some point. Judging from the way he dropped eye drops into his eyes, he probably had a personality that he had been using for a long time. I don't care about other things. The main thing is the Green Valley Boys' performance in this test, which makes me a little worried. What are you worried about? Your disciple's strength has not improved? Just change him. What a stupid thing to say. Then why are you worried? The main reason is this test. The mental state of Midoriya boy gave me a very bad feeling. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. All Might kicked the boss chair he was sitting on and gave the computer to Izawa Xiao too. Can't you get up from your chair? This chair is so comfortable to sit on, so don't stand up. Childish ghost. Shota Izawa looked down at All Might who looked like a childish ghost and then looked at the computer video. 5 minutes later, Shota Izawa turned off the computer video, leaned on the table and touched his chin with one hand, thinking. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know that this guy's mental state is very wrong. That's right. The Green Valley boy acted like crazy when he was fighting with me. He even dislocated his left hand to punch me. I don't know what to do about this kind of thing. Now I can only take it one step at a time. By the way, how many days of vacation will I have after the test? I want to have a good sleep. I will be scorched and frozen this time. The plan was torturing me to death. 2 days, then we'll spend the night in the forest. I hope there won't be any trouble. Izuku slept until the evening of the next day. He was woken up by his mother's knock on the door. If he hadn't been woken up, he probably would have slept until the day after tomorrow. Izuku, don't sleep, get up and have a meal. Mom was a little worried about Izuku. He didn't have breakfast or lunch this morning. He had to eat some at night. Okay, okay. Izuku sat up from the bed. He moved his left hand and it no longer hurt. Izuku walked out of the room stroking his hair. His hair was really a bit long and almost covered his eyes. What I'm cooking tonight is your favorite pork chop rice. Be sure to eat more. No problem. Izuku forced himself to smile. Be sure to get a few more hours of sleep later. Izuku vaguely picked up the spoon with his right hand and ate the pork chop rice one bite at a time. Izuku, what happened to you yesterday? Why didn't you even eat breakfast or lunch today? Yesterday's test took too much effort, which caused me to sleep a little bit. It doesn't matter, Mom, I'm really fine. Izuku showed a big smile again. That's good. Mom held Izuku's head with one hand, and the two heads touched each other. Izuku, it's time to cut your hair. Your bangs already cover your eyes. Well, I'll go get it cut. Mom, I'm full. I'm going back to my room first. Izuku jumped off the dining table, his left hand still hurting from time to time. My left hand hurts so much. Obviously I should have admitted defeat before. I don't want to cut my hair either. I don't want others to see it. But I don't want to lose. If you lose in the future, you will die. So sleepy. I want to sleep with him forever. As a result, Izuku still didn't sleep well. He was woken up by a phone call at 9 o'clock in the evening. It was a call from his sister. Hey, Sister Cow Cow. Do you have anything to ask me for so late at night? I just want to see you if I have something to do. Here's what happened. 2 minutes later, Izuku hung up the phone with a look of helplessness. It turned out to be for the sale of drones. Although that kind of thing can't be called arms, it can carry missiles, so it can be regarded as a kind of arms vehicle. It's so annoying. Izuku stood up from the bed, took a black and white sweatshirt and an old-fashioned mask from his pile of cosplay clothes, and took out a Glock from a hidden place. Let's take these things with us tomorrow, as well as that thing and documents. I'll be busy again tomorrow. Izuku shook his head and fell asleep again on the bed. You have to do what you say when it comes to my sister, right? Well, but things are a bit difficult this time. We may have to fight our way out tomorrow. It won't be that scary. Who knows, go to bed quickly, my whole body still hurts. It does hurt. I didn't expect my head to be so clear. It's so annoying, so annoying. At 3 o'clock the next morning, Izuku woke up. I don't know if it was because he slept too much, but Izuku was in better spirits now. Since you are in such good spirits, let's go for a run and exercise. Hey! Why? I still want to sleep again. I can't sleep anyway, so I might as well go for a run. Why did I end up with you, an exercise freak? I want to sleep. Don't think about it, let's go. Izuku finally went out for a run in his sportswear. After finishing his daily exercise, it was already 5 o'clock in the morning, and the sun had already risen. He looked at the sun that had just risen. He let out a long breath. Sure enough, this sunrise is the best, don't you think so? I know the sunrise is great. But now I just want to sleep. Let me go back, I will sleep for another 500 years. Since the sun has come out, the copy shop should also be open, and the plan can begin. Izuku said, opened the door, took a shower and changed clothes. 5:55, you can obviously sleep until the end of the world. Stop talking nonsense. After you finish your work, you can sleep as long as you want. Izuku put on a mask, put on a black shoulder bag and walked out of the house. Izuku came to a copy shop. Boss, do you have a fax machine here? Yes, yes, what do you want to pass on? Chapter 77, the commission is completed and the training camp in the forest begins. Half an hour later, Izuku walked out of the copy shop with several packages of documents. The next step is to deliver things to those guys. Lin Hoxiang took out a piece of paper from his pocket, which was the name of several seemingly logistics companies, but actually arms companies. First, Barn Logistics Company. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Izuku arrived at the door of the Barn Logistics Company. Wearing a mask and a hat, he walked to the front desk of the logistics company. "Hello, is the president of your company here now?" Izuku's voice was a little hoarse, which was intentional. "Do you have an appointment?" "I don't, but I have an urgent matter to see the president of your company." "Please ask him. Just tell him that I have an urgent matter to ask him about in Europe. It's about UAV." "Okay." The receptionist immediately called the president's office. A minute later, the receptionist said to Izuku while holding the phone's receiver. "The president said you can go up, but he only gives you 5 minutes." "Thank you." Izuku touched his hat and walked into the elevator. A minute later, Lin Hoxiang entered the president's office. "Nice to meet you, President." Izuku entered the president's office and saw the president of this company sitting on his boss chair drinking hot tea. "Why are you here?" The assistant standing next to the president said immediately. "I only have 5 minutes. There is not so much nonsense. I am here on behalf of Coco Hick Media. This document is about the USV. Miss Coco hopes that you can take a serious look at it." Izuku, while speaking in a hoarse voice, he took out a document from his shoulder bag and handed it to his assistant. The assistant took the document, flipped through a few pages, and then handed the document to the president nervously. "Actually, you can give me your answer now. If you refuse, I will call Miss Coco now." Izuku walked out the door, and the 5 minutes were up. The president fell silent after reading a few pages of documents. "Well, you are a naked threat. So, do you agree or not?" "Mr. President." Izuku's hand has already grasped the door handle. "I agree." The president said this almost through gritted teeth. "Then I will waste another minute of the president's time. Please sign the signature column at the end of the document." Izuku turned to look at the president, his eyes half-lidded. 2 minutes later, Izuku opened the door to the president's office. "It took a total of 7 minutes, and I wasted 2 minutes, President. I'm really sorry, so I'll take my leave." Izuku bowed to the president, and then closed the door to the president's office. As Izuku walked towards the elevator, I heard the sound of things being smashed in the president's office. I didn't expect the president to be so arrogant. The guests started to lose their temper even before they had gone far. Half an hour later, Izuku walked out of the door of the last logistics company on the list. This company is the only one that dares to resist Miss Coco, so there is no need for this company to exist. Izuku looked at the tall office building of this company again. Then he took out his cell phone and called Sister Cow Cow. Ahem. Izuku tugged at his throat. After pretending to be a smoker and an alcoholic for so long, he still wasn't used to it. Moxie, who is that?" "It's me, Sister Cow Cow. All the other companies have agreed to your plan. Only one company, Axe Logistics Company, can take over this company." "I know, thank you, Jonah. If you can help me in any way, just call me, but don't ask me to play cosplay." Izuku hung up the phone and took off his mask and hat. "Go back." Cow Cow, who was far away in Europe, looked at the phone that had been hung up with an unhappy look on her face. "Falm. Next time you return to China, capture Jonah first." "Coco. Jonah, you are miserable. Ignore this for now, let's attack the logistics company, right? Let's collect some interest from them first." Cow Cow's expression was like a poisonous snake pouncing on food, vicious and vicious. It was already noon when Izuku got home, and his mother had already prepared lunch and was waiting for Izuku to come back to eat. "Mom, I'm back." Izuku smiled and opened the door. "Izuku, you're back. Where have you been?" "Lunch is ready, sit down and eat quickly." "Actually, I didn't go anywhere. I just chatted with a few classmates, lying, for a while, obviously a threat, and exchanged opinions on some study issues, liar. You even asked your mother dare to lie. So that's it. I was discussing studies with other classmates." It seems that Izuku is very popular in the class. The introduction looked at Izuku with a smile. "When I was in junior high school, Izuku didn't have any friends." Junior high school, I really don't have any friends." Izuku murmured while twisting the pork chop rice with chopsticks. "But Izuku has a lot of friends now. Mom is really happy." The introduction wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and said happily. "Yeah. I'm happy too, to have so many good friends." Izuku put the chopsticks aside, picked up a spoon and started eating pork chop rice. Then Izuku, eat slowly. Mom will go to the side to chat with the aunt. Hehe, ever since Izuku entered UE, Mom has a lot to say, which makes Mom feel very proud. Midoriya Yunzi exhaled 2 streams of turbid air from his nostrils, and he looked very happy. Okay. Izuku watched his mother walk out of the door and walk to the aunt's house next door. Mom's smile has become more and more since I was admitted to UE. Izuku finished lunch silently, then walked into his room and started writing. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Izuku finished writing today's work. When he stretched his waist, his cell phone rang again. It was someone in the class group chatting in the group. Kamiming Electric, was I blind this morning? I actually mistook a passerby for Midoriya. Kamiming Electric, picture. When Izuku saw the picture sent by Kamiming Electric, his heart clicked. Kamiming's eyesight is too good. I have disguised myself like that, and you can still see it. Xiang, idiot face, what kind of look is that? You can actually mistake a passerby for Midoriya? Mio wafu, but if you look closely, this passerby's eyes are still a bit like Midoriya's. Ida-san, passersby are passersby. I heard from All Might that Midoriya-san should still be recuperating at home. Don't say bad things about Midoriya-san here. Izuku felt that he needed to cover up for himself, and he pressed the keyboard of his mobile phone. Midoriya Izuku, what are you talking about? What time is it now? Mio wafu, Midoriya-kun, are you sleepy? Xiang, you haven't appeared since the exam the day before yesterday, Midoriya-kun, are you okay? Kaminari Denki, Midoriya is so strong, how could he be in trouble? Sirofanta, Midoriya, what's wrong with you? I called you the night before yesterday and asked you to go out and play together, but you didn't answer the phone. Izuku Midoriya, maybe it's because I slept too soundly. After all, it was a battle with All Might. It's normal to be beaten up by him. My left arm is still hurting now. Mineta Minoru, I heard from All Might that your left arm is dislocated. Is it true? Mineta Minoru was muted for 30 minutes by the administrator Ida Tinya. Ida Tinya, sorry, I muted you as soon as I saw you come out. Kamimura Denki, goodbye, brother. Izuku Midoriya, Mineta is right. My left arm is dislocated. Although it was reattached later, it still hurts now. Kamimura Denki, how does it feel to be dislocated? Izuku Midoriya, it hurts a lot. My arm is not my own at all. When I run, my left hand flies behind me like a streamer. Muroko Hibiki, I didn't expect you to remember it so clearly. Oshiro Sarafu, I remember there is a special training method that can make the arm dislocate and reattach freely. Kamimura Denki, Oshiro, are you a pervert? Izuku Midoriya, by the way, I have long wanted to know, how many groups in our class can go to the forest training? Yamamo, everyone can go. This test is mainly to let everyone know their shortcomings. Izuku Midoriya, wow. Really? That's great. Yamamo, oh, Midoriya, your written test score has surpassed Ida and jumped to 2nd place. Izuku Midoriya, wow. Really? I got 2nd place. So happy. Ida Tinya, why did my back suddenly feel cold? Kamiming Denki, this is in the results, a minute of silence for Ida's mother. Kamiming Denki was silenced for 30 minutes by the administrator Ida Tinya. Muroko Hibiki, idiot, you are asking for trouble. Izuku Midoriya, by the way, I also want to ask, when does the forest training start? Yamamo, it will start tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we will take the bus to the forest training. Chapter 78, The Encounter between Long Gallery Supermarket and Shigaraki Tamura. Izuku looked at the message on his phone and scratched his head. He didn't expect that he would leave tomorrow. Now he has no time to write anything. He has to pack his clothes and things immediately. Although I'm only staying there for a month, I still have to prepare. By the way, where is my suitcase? Izuku began to search in the utility room. Damn, I don't seem to have a suitcase. I have to buy one. It would be better if everyone went together. Izuku turned on his phone. Izuku Midoriya, does anyone want to go to the mall? I just realized that I didn't buy a suitcase. Ashido Mina, I want to go, and I have to buy a new pair of shoes. Yurika Okako, I want to buy a new sportswear. Ida Tinya, I want to buy some more suitable exercise equipment. Toki and Tayin, I also have to buy some dark materials. Kamiming Denki, I want to buy a new pair of headphones. Izoku Midoriya, it seems that everyone has something to buy. Then let's go together. How about setting the location at the Long Gallery supermarket? Ida Tinya, no problem, the time is set at 3 p.m. Students who live far from the Long Gallery supermarket should leave now. Izoku turned off his phone, changed into a white shirt and black shorts, and left the house with his usual school bag. At 3 p.m., Izoku met other students who were shopping together. Well, I feel comfortable here after all. Shangming Denki stretched lazily. Humans are social animals after all. Let's buy whatever you want. Ashido, I remember you want to buy shoes, right? Let's go together. Ida pointed to a store selling shoes not far away. Okay. Ashido-sana happily followed Ida-kun to buy shoes. Then Chang'an, let's go shopping too. Shangming Denki put one hand on Chang'an Taeyan's shoulder and walked towards the place selling headphones and strange things. Midoriya-kun. What's wrong? Izoku smiled and looked at Yurika Okako standing next to him. Izoku's smile is really good. Li Ri's face suddenly turned red. It's okay. I'll go buy clothes first. Li Ri ran out, covering her red face. So now I'm the only one left again. Izoku scratched his head, and just when he was about to walk to the store selling suitcases, his neck was grabbed. Who is it? It's me, you won't forget me, right? I have received a lot of care from you. A familiar voice. It turned out to be Mr. Giant Baby. Izoku smiled, and he felt the force on his neck getting heavier. Okay, we have to find a place to have a good chat. You don't want to be ruined here. Shigaraki Tomura's forefingers were against Izoku's neck, and there was still a middle finger that was not put down. As long as Izoku dared to move a little, he would be destroyed. So what do you want to talk to me about? Mr. Shigaraki. Izoku and Shigaraki Tomura sat on a chair and watched the flow of people coming and going. I've been upset lately. I'm mad at you and the hero killer, but what I'm most upset about right now is the hero killer. Shigaraki Tomura pursed his lips and looked at the crowd coming and going. A hint of nostalgia flashed in his eyes, but more of it was dead air. Haha, I thought the hero killer was in the same group with you guys. It's just the media's blind speculation, but that's the problem. Now most people's eyes are on the hero killer. No one has seen my feat. Whether it's attacking Yui or releasing Naomo to cause a big fuss in Hosa City, he has overshadowed me. No matter how much I say, it's still destroying things he doesn't like. Midoriya-kun, can you help me explain it? Actually, it's not that hard to understand. When the hero killer saved me, he said that only a true hero can kill him. Whether it's him or me, we all started with all might. Although I don't agree with what he did, I do understand his thoughts a little bit, and he didn't give up halfway. He lives for his ideals. He wants to make this world have many more real heroes like All Might. Izoku crossed his legs and looked at the crowd, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. I see. The atmosphere between the two of them suddenly became particularly gloomy. I finally figured out the reason why I'm upset. It's All Might's fault. Shigaraki Tomura showed a smile that was uglier than crying. Ah, what have I been struggling with these days? It's because of that rubbish All Might. That silly grin. That's why these guys can live with silly grins. It's because they laugh as if there are no hopeless people in this world. That's why I feel so upset. But I think it's better to laugh than not to laugh. Izoku stretched out his hand, wanting Shigaraki Tomura's hand to relax, but gave up after thinking about it. At least it won't be so dead. This country is still good. You should have never been abroad. Izoku took out his mobile phone from his pocket, not caring about Shigaraki Tomura's opinion at all, and opened a hidden folder on his mobile phone. There were several photos and a video in it. Take a look at what's in here. This country should be a good fit for you and your organization. Izoku handed the phone to Shigaraki Tomura. Hey! I didn't expect that students from UA would actually help me. Shigaraki Tomura took the phone with a little surprise and flipped through the photos in the phone with his left hand. Hey? This. Shigaraki Tomura opened the video in the phone. It was a scene of a burning street. Midoriya was squatting behind a relatively intact car with a gun in his hand. Coco, you're still taking videos. Hurry up and run. What should I worry about with you here? Boom boom. 2 more vehicles exploded, and an arm fell in front of the phone. Corpses and blood were everywhere. Desperate shouts and excited curses came one after another. A dozen men with weapons in their hands shouted and rushed towards Izuku and the others, but Izuku just raised his gun and fired a burst of shots, and they fell to the ground. Does it look good? Izuku tilted his head and looked at the phone. That country should be very suitable for you and your organization. You want to destroy everything you don't like. They all have powerful personalities that I didn't have at the time, but they don't know how to use them. Power is absolute there, and guns and power are prevalent there. In order to protect their own power, many people will buy Coco's weapons, and those weapon madmen will come to rob them because they have no money. Izuku twisted his neck. The reason why there are people like you in this country is because you have different power and thinking from ordinary people. You want to make this heroic society collapse. This era is the best era and the worst era. There are heroes and enemies. Everyone is living for themselves and everyone is moving towards their own ideals. You have the ideal of making this society collapse, so please continue, don't stop. Izuku took back his mobile phone, and with a slight struggle, Izuku broke free from Shigaraki Tomura's hand, and then he held Shigaraki Tomura's wrist. Today, the two of us are rarely together, let's go buy something together. Hey! What kind of idea is this? We are obviously enemies, okay? Don't you think you should put on some lipstick? Your mouth is dry. Izuku pulled Shigaraki Tomura up from the chair without saying anything and walked into a cosmetics store. Hey! What the hell are you doing? What am I doing now? Is it really okay for two people from different camps to be like this? Shigaraki Tomura was taken into the cosmetics store by Izuku with a confused look on his face. Well, this lipstick doesn't seem to work. It's white, which is almost the same as nothing. How about light red, or flesh-colored ones? Izuku finally chose 2 flesh-colored lipsticks. After paying the bill, Izuku held Shigaraki Tomura's hand and stood at the exit of the supermarket. You should have your own ideals and beliefs now. Izuku glanced at Shigaraki Tomura standing next to him. Create a world without all might, let the world know how fragile justice is, I call it my own belief. It's good to have beliefs, but when two people's beliefs conflict, then they are enemies, so when we meet again next time, don't hold back. Izuku put the 2 lipsticks into Shigaraki Tomura's pocket and turned away. Original body, why did you do that? For the enemy. No, I just want to make this matter more interesting. 2 masters and apprentices with different goals may make me feel more interesting. Do you really want him to kill All Might? If you want to touch the light in my heart, please ask him to step over my body first. By the way, the suitcase hasn't been bought yet. It seems so, I have to buy a suitcase. Chapter 79, The Training Camp Begins. The next morning, Izuku and other classmates got on the bus heading to a forest camp. No one is allowed to stand up. Ida, we were all sitting down and you stood up. Wababi, do you have anything to eat? Yes, Bibai, what do you want to eat? Kirishima, I recently found some new songs. These guys are so unmanly, Shangming, come and listen to me. Anyway, there was an endless quarrel in the car. Shota Izawa turned his head and looked at the noisy Class 1A, with an evil smile on his lips. In another hour we will stop temporarily and take a rest. In another hour, the forest camp will officially begin, so you can make some more noise. Okay, teacher. Ida nodded. He looked at Izuku sitting next to him. Izuku was reading a book that looked difficult to understand. I didn't expect Izuku-kun to like studying so much. Is this a teaching aid? Why have I never read it? This is not a teaching aid, it's just a book my grandpa gave me. It contains some interesting things. Izuku put the bookmark into the book and put the book back into his bag. In addition to books, the school bag also contained 3 bottles of light blue and 1 bottle of blood red liquid. These liquids were contained in test tubes, and the test tubes were secretly placed in a square box. Grandpa's research was really successful. From my grandfather's research book, it seems that yes, if you drink a bottle of blue potion a day and a red potion 3 days later, your personality will automatically awaken. However, this potion has not been tested on humans. Grandpa said it is best not to take it lightly. Use. What is the blue potion? The blue potion seems to be a potion that accumulates energy. You should not exercise too much after drinking the potion. You can only drink the red potion after drinking 3 bottles of blue potion. The red potion refers to the key to awakening personality. The process of awakening personality will be quite painful. It seems that Grandpa's skills have improved again. It's not like he just sent me some messy martial arts secrets before. But something in one of my grandpa's books is of some use. Are you talking about the imagination article? That article is pretty good. Many of my moves were developed from that article imagination. That's true, but don't you need to take a nap? My left arm is still hurting from the dislocation. It won't hurt if you fall asleep. Izuku closed his eyes and began to rest. An hour later, Izuku was shaken awake by Shota Aizawa. What's wrong with Mr. Aizawa? Izuku rubbed his eyes. We've arrived at the temporary stop. Why don't you get out of the car and take a rest? Shota Aizawa planned to let Izuku get off. Can I continue to sleep in the car? You'd better get out of the car and tidy up. Okay, no problem. I always feel that Mr. Aizawa wants to drive me out of the car. Teacher Aizawa has bad intentions. Speaking of the main body, why did you agree just now? I don't know. As soon as Izuku stepped out of the bus, he was swept down the temporary rest stop by a mudslide and fell into the forest under the temporary rest stop. Teacher Aizawa, you tricked me. As soon as Izuku shouted this sentence, he got a mouthful of mud. Ahem. Ugh. Mr. Aizawa. You're so deceitful. Ugh. Izuku squeezed his throat hard and spit out a lot of mud. Teacher Aizawa is indeed not a good person. Trash is indeed trash, and you actually have dirt poured into your mouth. Bakugo Katsuki looked at Izuku with disdain. You guys should carry out your sleepover mission in this Warcraft forest. The target is the hilltop opposite. You can use personality here. Come on. A familiar voice came from the temporary parking lot above. Aizawa Shota with a wicked smile on his face. I can't hold it in any longer. I need to go to the toilet. Mineta just finished speaking and ran into the forest, covering her crotch. What's up with the strong western style of the Warcraft forest? Ugh. Izuku continued to vomit mud, as if he couldn't finish it. Weird, monster. As soon as Mineta Minoru ran into the forest, he waved his hand and ran back from the forest. A huge 4-legged monster appeared in front of them. Mineta, you were so scared that you peed your pants. Kaminari smiled and looked at Mineta's already wet pants. Hurry up and save me. Mineta ran while asking for help from others. Whoosh! A green streak appeared on the monster's face in an instant. Kick Wind Blade. Cut down. A kick of Wind Blade directly split the monster into 2. Teacher Aizawa, when I get to you, I will make you eat a belly full of mud. Izuku landed on the ground and raised his right foot, and a green arc appeared on Izuku's foot. Kick Wind Blade. Big Boomerang. Izuku used himself as a fulcrum and transformed into a lawnmower, directly cutting down the trees within 10 meters of him, creating a path for those behind him. Eraserhead, I feel like you will be beaten by that kid. How can he beat me? But if this is the case, wouldn't there be no point in training together? At least it can give them some resistance. Then it's up to you, short-hair cat. Don't worry, leave it to me. But that boy who's been in front is very interesting. I'm starting to get interested, hehe. Then let's go, Yutei. Boring. At 12:30 noon, Izuku was the first to arrive at the sleeping place. Where is Aizawa-sensei? Izuku shouted loudly as soon as he arrived at the place where they were staying, his right foot still full of energy. Aizawa-sensei. You tricked me. And you made me eat a lot of mud. Come out. Izuku said while holding up a rather large mud ball, which greatly surprised Aizawa Shota. The attitude of eating this mud ball. Aizawa Shota took his little yellow sleeping bag and fled. Oh my god, is this kid so angry? TCH. You dare to do something you don't dare to admit. Izuku threw the mud ball aside and squatted there again and vomited, and what he vomited out was another pile of mud. After defeating the last mud monster, Bakugo and Todoroki also arrived at the sleeping place, and the others also followed the path opened by Izuku to the sleeping place. I really have to thank Midoriya-san. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have been able to get here so smoothly. But those monsters on the road are really annoying. Shang Ming turned into an idiot because of this. Erlang Xiang looked at Shang Ming Electric who was standing next to him with disgust. Wei! Wow, Izuku, when did you eat so much mud? Are you okay? Yurika Okako also came to Izuku covered in dust and patted Izuku's back. Ugh! Another pile of dirt was spat out. Now I'm even going to vomit out my breakfast. I'm afraid I won't be able to eat lunch. If you can still eat, then eat more. So angry. If I want to curse someone, wouldn't I be cursing myself? I'm afraid I won't be able to eat much. The ragdoll cat frowned as he looked at Izuku, who was still vomiting. If this kid knew that I was responsible for that mudslide, wouldn't it be the end of me? I'd better pass the blame to Eraserhead. Congratulations to Mr. Izawa for taking the blame. Since everyone is here, take your luggage to your room now, have lunch, and then take a shower. You have free time in the afternoon. Tomorrow is the painful training. Act quickly. During lunchtime, Izuku had no appetite at all when looking at the food in front of him, but other students ate it with gusto. Hey? Izuku, why don't you eat? Now my mouth is full of earthy taste, how can I eat it? I'm not very hungry. I'm going back to my room first. Izuku smiled awkwardly and walked out of the cafeteria. I can only eat spare energy bars when I go back. But it should also taste like earth. Izuku patted his mouth and spit out another piece of sand. This time it's all Izawa-sensei's fault. But I can't beat him, and I can't settle the score with him. So you still have to keep getting stronger. Izuku clenched his fists again. Suddenly, he saw a little boy wearing a red hat walking toward the warehouse with a box of fruits and vegetables. He looked a little struggling. Izuku followed the little boy. Want to help? No need. I hate you guys who want to be heroes. Get away. The little boy's tone was quite rude. What's wrong with this kid? Izuku stood there and scratched his head. It seems like he's unhappy with us heroic reservists. It's better to quickly change into a new set of clothes, then wipe yourself with a wet towel, and eat an energy bar. There are a lot of things to do. Izuku said and walked back to him quickly room. After closing the door, Izuku carefully took out the Mk3 and Glock from his school bag, found a secret place to hide them, and then took out the energy bars he had prepared. There were 20 bars in total. One bar could probably recovers half of Ku's physical strength and protein for daily life. Izuku stopped eating after finishing an energy bar. His mouth was still full of muddy taste and he couldn't eat anything. What a strange smell. The taste of mud in your mouth, combined with the taste of an energy bar that's not delicious to begin with, will certainly become weird. Is that so? Izuku thought as he walked into the bathroom of the room with a towel and wiped his body with the water from the sink and the towel. Hurry up and change your clothes after wiping it off. Let's study Grandpa's things later. After wiping, Izuku washed the towel again, hung it on the clothesline to dry, then put on new shorts, and sat on a chair in the room to read. Dong dong dong, knocking on the door, a rather violent knock on the door. It was undoubtedly Xiao Sheng. Izuku sighed, then covered the book and stood up to open the door. Chapter 80, Hot Spring Bath. What's the matter, Kakin? Izuku opened the door, looked at the young tamer standing in front of him who hated him the most, and said with his head half lowered. The main body is so timid, hee. I just don't dare to look at Xiao Sheng, I'm a little scared. The others asked me to ask you to take a bath in the bathhouse at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Tisk, the thought of taking a bath with a loser like you is disgusting. Bakugo only said this and turned around and left. Xiao Sheng is still the same. Izuku watched Bakugo walk away and then closed the door. Well, he is still the same as before. Since there is nothing wrong, let's continue studying. You have to consider whether to drink those bottles of potion here. The blue potion should be energy. In that case, you can't drink it here anymore. It's a waste. Bakugo stared at Izuku's room from the corner of the stairs. He's not angry. He didn't cry. What are you doing? That trash. I used to cry when I was scolded, but now what? Bakugo's emotions were suddenly on the verge of exploding. It feels like you are being ignored by Izuku-kun. Todoroki Jiaodong didn't know when he stood behind Bakugo. Uniang face, are you looking for a fucking beating? Tomorrow's training will be very tiring, and I don't have time to fight with you. Todoroki walked up with a plate of Izuku's favorite pork chop rice. The third energy potion will wrap up the whole body's strength. You will have no strength at all that day. Drinking the red potion the next day will have the best effect. Izuku muttered quietly, playing with his hands while reading the book. of bullets. It seems feasible. It seems like this. Are you feeling itchy? A bit, but after so many years, I can still bear it for a while. Izuku closed the book again. What do you mean by being old-fashioned? It's only been 15 years since you were born, so why are you pretending to be so old-fashioned? Dong 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 was the knock on the door again. Which one? Me. It was Todoroki-kun's voice. Izuku opened the door, and Todoroki-kun was standing outside the door, holding a piece of pork cutlet rice. Todoroki-kun, you didn't eat lunch, right? I asked the shorthairs and the others to make you a plate of pork chop rice. Todoroki walked into Izuku's room freely and closed the door, blocking the furious Bakugo. 20 minutes later, Todoroki walked out of Izuku's room with an empty plate with a satisfied look on his face, and gave Bakugo a provocative look. Damn it, what a yin and yang face. Bakugo-kun, let go. The wall is about to crack. Well, it's already cracked. In the room, Izuku retched again against the toilet in the bathroom. I still feel so sick. Ouch. Nothing came out. Now I feel like my stomach is full of mud again. Actually, it's just my favorite pork chop rice. But now that I can't vomit it out, I might as well forget it. It feels quite bad to be watched by Todoroki-kun while eating. That's it. Izuku wiped his mouth, washed his hands, and sat back on the chair. When I looked at him, I felt like I was half in the fire and half in the ice. It was such a strange feeling. Izuku thought as he scrolled through his phone. Agreed. By the way, it's 3:30 now, shouldn't you go get the towel for the hot spring? But don't I have a towel? Do you want others to collectively admire the Illumat towel you wear around your waist? Don't you think it's embarrassing? Sorry, I'm going to get it now. Izuku got up and went out to get a towel and a yukata. On the way back to the room after taking the towel, Izuku saw the strange child again. At that time, the child was kneeling in front of the two memorial tablets, with his hands clasped together and his head lowered, muttering something. What is that child doing? I don't know, but I think I saw him crying. Why is he crying? I don't know, don't ask me, but looking at that child's pious look, he must be his parents or something. Yet, I'm a little worried. Do you want to care about it? Let's go. Izuku walked behind the child with a towel and a yukata. He looked at the two spiritual tablets in front of him, feeling a little heavy. They seem to be the children's parents. These two names look a bit familiar. They are the heroic couple who died 3 years ago. The incident was still a big deal at that time. Get away. The kid turned around and stood up, punching Izuku's vital part without hesitation. Poof. Izuku fell to the ground and couldn't get up again. It hurts so much. Are all children today so cruel? Help. At 4:10 in the afternoon, Izuku trudged to the hot spring pool to take a bath. Midoriya-kun, why are you so slow? We have been waiting for you here for a long time. Ida-kun sat in the hot spring and waved to Izuku. I was delayed because of some small things. It's okay. Izuku jumped into the hot spring with only a towel tied around his waist. Hey, it's really comfortable. Izuku said happily while sitting in the hot spring. I think lunch is okay, but more importantly, the women's bath is right across the street. It's only a wall away from us. I don't care, I'm going to get in. Mineta Minoru ignored the class monitor's obstruction and used his quirk to rush to the top of the wooden wall to see the scenery of the women's bath across the street. Class monitor, can we kick this guy out of class 1A? He ruins the class spirit of our class. I want to too. Mineta. What you're doing is shameful. Hurry down. Almost. Almost. Mineta's saliva was about to flow down, and just when he was about to climb to the top of the wooden wall, a little boy suddenly appeared at the top of the wooden wall. Before becoming a hero, be a human being first. The boy pushed Mineta Minoru back to earth from heaven with a palm. How can you repair it? You dead kid. Mineta lived up to everyone's expectations and fell into the hot spring. Thank you, little brother. Over at the women's bath, the girls wrapped in bath towels expressed their gratitude to the little boy, and several girls exposed their breasts. A real man, you guys, poof. The child stared at the women's bathing area in a daze, and his body lost stability and fell off the wooden wall. Danger! Izuku saved the little boy without thinking. Bang! Izuku's face hit the wooden wall. This kid and I definitely have a bad fate. Isn't the bad fate Xiaosheng? Izuku held the child in one hand and covered his nose with the other. Bleeding, bleeding. Izuku felt a hot stream of blood on his hand while covering his nose. It was a nosebleed. Then I'll take him to the health room first, you guys can play here slowly. Izuku covered his nose and took the child in one hand to the health room. In the health room, Izuku blocked his nostrils with a tissue while looking at the child lying on the sofa. He should be the child of the heroic couple 3 years ago. You actually know. The one who took care of the child was the Mandrake cat. You know, this incident was very popular at that time, so why is he with you? He is my distant nephew, and he lives with us temporarily. However, after experiencing that kind of thing, Kota hated heroes very much, and even had some hostility towards heroes. No wonder, after all, in the hearts of children, parents occupy a large part. Izuku rubbed his hair and turned to walk out of the health room. After such a thing happened, it is so difficult to take a hot spring bath now. Then I will go back first. Well, I am still very grateful that you saved Kota. That's what I should do. Izuku turned and left. Since he was not in the mood to take a hot spring bath, he went to the shower head to take a shower. After being tossed by this kid, I have no intention of taking a hot spring bath again. Just take a shower, I have to run another 20 kilometers tonight. Hey! Don't!